So say goodnight to the bad guy.
You looking at the bad guy. This the last time that you ever see a bad guy like me. You don't have the guts to be who you wanna be.
I feel like this is like a college reunion.
right, exactly. It does look like that, doesn't it?
Right? Yeah. It's interesting to see. It's always good to see people I did time with on the outside doing better.
Of course,
You know?
of course.
Definitely.
No, we did go to college. We went to school, but different school.
Different kind of school.
Yeah, I went to school for 13 years in real life. Think about that. Kindergarten to 12th, and I went to 13 years in prison, which it doesn't sound like it correlates, but it does. Same amount of years.
It definitely does.
Ooh.
It's crazy, right?
The 13 years in prison felt a little longer than even school, which is
I could imagine.
yeah. So but it's good to see you.
It's great to see you, brother.
Thanks, man.
That other day when I walked in here, because Henry was like, "You know Red Bull?" I was like, "It can't be the same Red Bull, right?" I was like, "No, I don't know Red Bull." He's like, "Oh, bring him tomorrow." And then I saw you. I was like, "What? Red Bull?" Oh man, Coleman.
Yeah,
Coleman was a interesting place.
It was.
So I still remember the day I met you, brother. You were talking with Nico and Mike
Okay.
in there. You know how they had that middle room
Of course, yeah.
on the F3?
Right, exactly.
You were like the four white dudes in F3. It was so funny. That was like a Puerto Rican unit.
Right, yeah, that's funny. It was like we were like almost 4 out of like 6 or 7.
Right?
Right, that's crazy. We might have been like
It was
the
like
older guy that was
Yeah.
the fraud, and then there was only like 5 or 6 white guys in there.
It was you, Baker, Nico,
Yep.
Mike,
Yep.
and maybe like 2
And
other
an
white
older
dudes.
white guy,
Yeah.
and maybe one other person. Yeah, you're right. It's about 6 in the whole unit.
That place, F3 was wild.
It was.
I mean, our camp was wild, period, but
Yeah.
F3 was like crazy.
Oh no, that's just, you don't even want to know. Yeah, it's yeah. I mean, people go in there. It's prison, but it's a prison camp. Everybody knows it's different. I mean,
Yeah.
I started the medium, went to the low, the camp. That the camps are, it's like daycare almost. I mean, it's
Right.
like you're still in prison. You're still away from your family. People have to realize you're in prison. Like if
Right.
if I tell people this is kind of maybe funny, but you could take it the way you want. If they put me in a Ritz-Carlton in a suite with room service for 13 years, I'm still going to miss my family every day.
Yes.
I'm still going to want to be free every day.
Right.
So yes, can accommodations be better? Is it like club fed like it used to be? No.
Mm.
No. Everybody thinks it's club fed now. You go to the camps. No, man. You know the food is garbage. You can get stuff taken in from the outside because it's a camp. It's still prison.
100%.
So when people can sugarcoat it, and when somebody comes in and does like a little, I got 17 and a half years. I went to trial. So when somebody does a 5-year bid, you're still going to prison. I have respect for anybody that does it well and it didn't telling anybody and just does their time. But you do 3 years at the camp, you really don't know what prison's about. I mean, I'm not saying this is not to scare anybody, but if you haven't seen anybody get stabbed in the neck, somebody, sexual advances that they don't want, the white boys telling you better get up with them, or I mean, my paperwork was always good. So I mean, I didn't have it that bad. I mean, I went to trial, my paperwork's good. Everywhere I went, I had some credibility because I fought them and I did it right. So my paperwork's completely clean. So I did go to some political places where, they did that, which I was okay with. So maybe my experience is a little different, but I can tell you one thing, and people don't realize this, and they have to. Prison is prison. You're not. You've lost your freedom. If you don't respect freedom, I don't know what to do with you. Because people come out and they're like, okay, it wasn't that bad, and if I ever did another crime, I might have another bid in me. You ever heard that?
No.
Okay.
Well,
no, but you ever heard the term? No,
Yeah,
you've heard people say it. Like I have another bid. I don't have another bid in me. They beat me. I've been down 13 years.
I've heard amongst my circle, it's the opposite. They say I don't have another bit in me.
Right, exactly, right. So
'Cause Eddie and like,
of
you
course,
know what I mean?
which we're around people that they don't have another bid in them.
Right.
But there's people that will actively tell you, and this is scary, because the recidivism rate is like 68%.
It's crazy.
And you look at how is it that when me and you and people that we know, we're not going back to prison.
No.
So I'm not. I mean, you would have to set me up, and there's it would just have to be
It would
something.
be something insane.
They'd have to lie about
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
so
yeah.
my point is, and I'm not saying they're not above that. My point is, though, the people that say they have another bid, they don't take it seriously, They don't appreciate freedom is shocking to me. Because, I mean, I've had guys where you know this, and people will be kind of surprised to hear it, but when you're in prison, you haven't. Their sentence is over. They can go to the halfway house. I will do something stupid outside to re-violate. So the judge says I'll have 8 more months in prison so I don't have any more paper, which is called probation. I don't want to do 8 more hours in prison.
That's so stupid.
Never mind 8 more months in prison
stupid.
that I don't have to.
If they would have gave me like an insane amount of home confinement and probation,
sure,
I would have taken it.
Right. So what people have to be educated with is that when you're in the feds, you do a sentence. You go to the halfway house. There's no halfway house in the state. You go to the halfway house, then you probably go home confinement, and then you go out to probation. Society.
Yep.
But in between, there's nothing that helps you reacclimate. It's just the steps. The halfway house, even, okay, you get to go out, and then that's fine. I never complained about the halfway. It's better than prison. But there's got to be more programs to help you do something with your life, even psychologically. Listen to me, if you're not changed by 13 years in prison a little bit, you must be an android.
You're definitely not from this planet, I'll tell you that much.
Like if somebody says that prison didn't change them, they're lying.
It changes you in some way, shape, or form. 100%.
And you might not even know it. You see what I'm saying? So, when I went to trial for 3 reasons. One is that I thought my case is in black and white. It's not a black and white fraud. I mean, I shipped 30,000 Red Bull machines. We'll get into that. But I'm saying I shipped what they asked for. Right. I sold a little tough. I exaggerated earnings, but it's not black and white. The second thing, I had an ego. And the third thing is I really thought I could beat them. Okay, you put those together, and it doesn't make me any more penance, but I'm saying that there's people that will tell you they're innocent. Right. You've heard people, I'm innocent, and I took a deal. You're innocent? And they scared you enough to take a deal when you're innocent? Like they got the wrong dude. That's scary.
It is.
And the government really shouldn't be that powerful. They shouldn't be. This system should be about really finding the truth, not the W's.
I agree.
Like people think that a football team might cheat, or this person might do this, or this person would do anything to get this job, or I'll do anything to do whatever, right? The government will do anything to get you.
100%.
That's scary.
Very scary.
That's almost like the Nazis. They
resort to the same tactics that the people they claim to fight against are using, the criminals.
Right.
It's like, but what's that old saying? Like, 2 rights don't make a wrong. If you're willing to resort to do the same thing as your enemy to win, that makes you just like your enemy.
You're right. So it's like Sun Tzu said that. But what's scary is that people, if you poll people, they think this is the best system in the world. Oh, we're fair. We're way more fair than, like, say, Germany or something. No. People get votes for putting us into jail for more time, 100%. Not less time. They have nice rules now with the first step and all that. But I can tell you this: if the U.S. government tomorrow, if Trump said tomorrow, if that idiot said tomorrow that we need $1 for everybody's paycheck because we can't afford to put anybody in federal prison, we can't afford it anymore, and we need $1 from your paycheck every 2 weeks, I bet you 80% of the people would say yes.
Probably.
Just because we want those bad guys out of there. So, people say that for prison reform, and some people are, but not everybody. Everybody just thinks that, like, you got indicted. Well, you must be a bad guy. Well, what? So the government is infallible, though. Like, I used to be, too. Like, before I said, I don't go to prison. Let's not talk about me. I mean, like, if you did a crime, hey, buck up. No, it's so bad. And when they want you, they'll get you.
They'll get you by any means necessary.
Yeah. So some of the stuff they did to me, people would be shocked.
Yeah.
People would be flabbergasted.
I hear it. I heard it all the time. And they're threatening to indict their moms, their family members.
Right. So they did the same MO with me.
Yeah.
Like this is the 4 things they do. This is the 4 things they always do. Okay. 1, they took my mother and my wife and took them to the FBI building in Miramar. Got voice analysis, handwriting analysis, and threatened to indict him there, which they can't. But my mother doesn't know that, so my mother's crying. My wife, she's a Peruvian, she's hardcore, she's a little spitfire. She says, no, I didn't do anything wrong. But my mother's crying. So think about that. Most people, they see their mother crying, they say, oh, I did the best thing for my mother. I tapped out right there. No, that's not my mentality. I love my mother, but my mother didn't do anything wrong. Indict her. Let's see what they put her in front of a jury. You're going to indict a woman that did nothing wrong. Oh, Lord. That's scary, huh? You're going to tell my wife that did nothing wrong. They say, well, your wife got checks and put them in the account. Yeah, she did. We paid taxes on it. We didn't do anything wrong. Well, your mother worked for you. Yeah, she made business packages. She did nothing. But you're much of a gangster enough to threaten my mother who done nothing. So that's the first thing they do, threaten family. The second thing they do is give these crazy numbers. I'm a first-time fraud. I've never been arrested in my life. You're going to get 30, 40 years. 30, 40 years. So automatically, people go, oh, my God, I'm scared.
Which is something crazy that trials and juries aren't aware of how much time you're going to get.
That's what's crazy,
which
too.
Is nuts.
The third thing is, like, people be shocked. Like, I tell everybody, murder's the easiest thing to beat because the jury, even as neophytes, they don't know anything about anything. They know that you get one of two things with murder. You get death or you get a life sentence. Now, here's the crazy part. The kid who goes for crack for the third time, he's sold 2 dime bags of crack. That's his third time, though. He's going to get 30 years. That jury thinks that I'm going to send him to jail for a year or two. He's probably doing well. He's a crackhead. He's going to get drug rehabilitation. He's going to be better when he gets jail. Jail is good for him. They don't know he's going to get 30 years. If they knew he was going to get 30 years, you know what they would say?
Not guilty.
Not guilty. Okay. Same thing with fraud. They see me, maybe cocky. At the time, I got $5,000 suits on. I'm a little cocky. I deserve a little. I made all this money. Listen, he's going to do 2 or 3 years. That's all he's going to do is 2 or 3 years. Slap on the wrist. I'm fraud, right? Doesn't work that way anymore. So after my trial, 70 days later, I get sentenced. I'm in the newspaper. I'm in the TV and newspaper. In the front page of the paper, I guarantee they looked and said, I was in that trial. Oh, he 210 months? He got 210 months? Ooh, let me do the math. That's 17 and a half years. Oh, my God.
Yeah, I didn't think he was going to get 17 years. Yeah.
And if I knew he was going to get 17 and a half years, I probably would have said not guilty. I thought he was going to get 2 years.
Right.
So that's scary that they have that rule. Where in the state, they don't. State, you can tell them what you're looking at. If I told them, put it this way, I got to understand for 10 days. If I said, I'm looking at 17 and a half years, they'd say mistrial, put him in jail, we'll do another trial. 10 times they'll do a trial. So you can't. So that's the second thing.
And the state is they play by rules. Like in the state, they have to catch you with evidence. And
yes.
They don't have conspiracy and all these kinds of things. You know?
And they've got to understand and say they can lie. They can lie, but we can't. I had an FBI agent get on the stand. He says, oh, yeah, I was lying about him doing all that to his employees. He was trying to get my employees to flip on me. So we asked him, well, what you told that employee, that was a lie. Like, he didn't do that. Oh, yeah, I can lie.
Blatantly, just like that on the stand. He took the stand and said that?
Absolutely. He took the stand and said in my trial. It's in my transcripts. The FBI says I can lie. It's like, you know, they're getting a drug kid and say your buddy told on you. You know they lie. Like, you've seen them in a drug case specifically say, hey, your buddy's already told.
Right.
Well, your buddy didn't tell us a lie.
Well,
that's a lie.
We know that they lie, but it's another thing for them to stand in open court and be like, yeah, I lied.
Open court. Oh, yeah. Well, they have to admit, because if they lie about that, they're lying.
It's perjury.
Then they're perjuring themselves. So think about that. You get an FBI guy and say, of course we lie. Because we're trying to get the truth out of them. You're trying to get the truth through lies? How does that? That's like weird math.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense. So they're trying to say, I'm going to get the truth by lying. Wow. Okay. Because I had many of my employees say, they interviewed the employees and they're saying, hey, didn't he he's already told on you. I didn't tell on anybody. I was the only person. I'd never talked to the FBI. I'm probably the only person that went to trial. I've never even talked to any of them. Every bit of the way I said, I'm fighting you. I'm not trying to get penance from it. I'm trying to say, I've never even talked to the FBI. The Secret Service was ahead of my case because people don't realize fraud is the Secret Service. I don't know why to this day. The Secret Service that protects the president is involved in fraud cases, big fraud cases.
Right.
Okay, so I never talked to them. Now, call me stupid for that. They might have offered me a better deal if I said, hey, like, listen, let's talk about a deal. I'm not going to tell anybody, but I'm gonna tap out.
Right. I
never did that, so I don't know what they would offer me. But they probably wouldn't have gave me a slap in the wrist. I had a big money account and all this. It's different now. So the point is, that's the two things. The third thing they do, this is crazy, is people don't realize at trial, okay, if they make a mistake, which they did 2 or 3 times, blatant mistakes the judge did, they'll always say it's harmless error. They'll say, yeah, the judge made an error, but it's harmless to your case. No matter what it is, the judge could say something crazy and make the jury believe something. In the appeals court will say, oh yeah, that's error, but it's harmless error. What's not? I mean, it's harmless not to me.
Definitely not.
I just got 210 months.
Right.
Okay. And the fourth thing, this is what's crazy, is that most people out there that will be watching this believe if I got indicted on 13 counts, I must be guilty of something.
Must be guilty of something.
Most people say, well, why'd you get indicted?
Guilty until proven innocent.
Okay, so that's why, like, people like OJ, when they say he was innocent to proven guilty, when I went to trial, I was 100% guilty to proven innocent. 100%. Because I've told this story. I told it on the podcast that when they were doing voir dire, you ever heard of voir dire? Voir dire is what means it's a different language to when you're asking the jury questions. It's called voir dire. Okay, so when you voir dire the jury, you're going to ask them questions about if they're going to be impartial, if they're going to be that.
Right.
So they asked my jury. They said, if you listen to all the evidence in the trial after a 2-month trial, Could you find him innocent or guilty from just what you hear? That's very mundane. That's a very easy question. This guy says, well, he was indicted on 13 counts. He must be guilty of something. He said this in open court. So I'm dead. If they're thinking that, you see what I'm saying?
Yep.
So what's crazy about that is I took my mother and my wife to the grand jury. I can't go inside. My mother comes out and she says they were like eating popcorn. They were giving them snacks. They didn't even listen to me. She's testifying. She said they weren't even listening to me. It was just a rubber stamp. They're in there like having fun, like getting paid for the day and getting food. Not even like listen to like because they're gonna just stamp it. Okay, right. So once you indict you, there's I don't know of a jury. In fact, I know one in the state that actually got the evidence and said there's not enough to, and they went against the government. And that was in a case, I forget what it was, but there was one that I heard of, one out of like a million, that the jury had enough cojones to say, you know what? I don't think you have enough. They never say that. They never say that.
Rebel, let's take it back to the beginning.
Sure.
I guess take it back in time.
Okay.
You have a lot to say and you have a long story, so we're going to cover as much as possible.
Absolutely.
But I have a feeling we're probably going to do a part 2.
Absolutely. Probably part 3, so that's okay.
All right. So you're originally from Boston.
Yeah. I'm from Holbrook, which is a suburb of Boston, about 12 miles outside of Boston. Did a lot of stuff in Boston, but I was a suburb of Boston.
Okay.
Like Pembroke Pines is a suburb of Fort Lauderdale, of Miami, right? Like that, yeah.
What were your parents like? Hardworking, blue-collar people?
My father was a hustler. My father was like, he owned trucking companies, he owned takeout restaurants, he ran numbers sometimes. He was doing it, he always was doing something. Never that well because you would be doing it for long periods of time, but he would make money quickly and then do whatever and then not make money. And then, so he was one of those guys who was just into everything. Right. And did he make money? Yes. Did he not make money for periods? Yes. So he was one of those guys where we were living in a trailer park. Listen to this. My grandfather's a multimillionaire, and we were living in a trailer park because my father would just make money here, not make money there. Always had nice cars, but live in the trailer park. So that's the kind of thing. And my father always had a boat. Listen to this. My father always had like a really nice boat in a marina. He was paying more for the marina dock than when we were to live in the trailer park. Wow. Think about that. And was okay with it. For a boat that in Massachusetts, you only use for like 4 months.
You're right, because it's freezing cold.
Right. So my mother was just like such a loving mother to me and my brother, but just to like would give my father passes. So my father, for a 2-year period when I was about 11 and my brother was 7, and he just vanished for 2 years. Nobody knew where he was. His parents didn't know where he was. Just vanished. So and afterwards he said he needed some space to like in his head. I'm like, you're a family. You need space to like figure it out. So, my mother had to go out there and get 2 jobs. My mother had to go out there and hustle it up. I remember like cable television came around our house like in 1980 for the first time. My mother would get into her pocket and get another job to get us cable TV. We didn't have a phone because my father ran up like a $2,000 bill before he left. So, I remember like my mother getting the cable for the first time, watching Halloween. Remember the movie Halloween? She'd like to turn out all the lights to watch the movie, right? So we turned out lights. We haven't had a phone for a year and a half. So it's like 12 o'clock midnight. She's watching this movie. I'm scared. I'm 11, right? And the phone rings. One of those old like Bring phones, like Bring. I said, I'm not answering it. My mother says, I'm not answering it because we haven't had a phone. Like, who knows what this is? I finally answered it was a phone company trying to get their money. But so my father was like back and forth hustling, could make money, but would make money and then stop and then take vacations and that type of thing. My mother would pick up the pieces. And then finally, when I got in high school, my father settled down a little bit, got some takeout restaurants and made money. We got a house finally. I got a house. We didn't move into a house till like my junior year of high school. So.
What kind of kid were you? Like, were you outside?
I was like completely outside in sports. I played everything. When I was real young, I played hockey. Everybody played hockey in Massachusetts. So I was 4 years old, got on skates. So a guy named Bobby Orr came to the Bruins in Massachusetts. When Bobby Orr, it's funny, Bobby Orr came in 1966. We had 18 rinks in Massachusetts. When he finished playing 10 years later, we had 375. Wow. Everybody played hockey. We were hockey. So I played hockey. Then I always played baseball. Played soccer, played basketball eventually when I got older.
Were you always a captain of the team? Like you were
I
always
I was always good, yeah. In baseball, I eventually played college baseball, so baseball was my sport. So always traveling teams. Think about that. My mother was scraping by to get it, but hockey was expensive. Like it was ice time, it was the equipment. She always managed to get the money though. She would take me for, like, people know in Massachusetts, they know about rink time. Sometimes you only get rink time at 5:30 in the morning. Think about that. My mother's taking me at 5:30 in the morning. That makes me emotional because, my mother didn't have to. I mean, she's working and still taking me these things, and I took it for granted that she would just, hey, you got to. I have a game. You got to take me, and she really did well for that. I mean, it was unbelievable. So all those sports takes time for the parents too, and you got to appreciate that. So thanks for all the moms and dads that do that, because
I can relate. My mother did a lot for me growing up.
Yeah, my mother did it unapologetically, and my mother did it without any pats in the back. And my mother did it because
not expecting any rewards.
No, God, no. So, was I? But I was a kid that asked a lot of questions. I could ask my grandmother. My grandmother would take me to fancy restaurants because she had money. Would take me to like the Prudential building, and get like $100 meal back in 1970s. And I'd say, Grandma, but you're taking me back to the trailer park. And she would tell me, hey, we paid for that trailer. You don't know we paid for your father's business. We gave your father $30,000 for that trucking business. Like, where's the money go? We gave your father money to get that takeout restaurant. So, but me, I'm saying, like, just buy us a house. And it's not that simple. I was a kid. Like, my father should have been buying the house. So, did I have love for my dad? Yes, but my dad was pretty selfish. My dad was a kind of a guy. It was about him, which I was a little guilty of when I was making the big money too. That everything was about me.
Never got into trouble as a kid with the law? Never got arrested? None of that stuff?
No. Sports really kept me from that. Was a slacker at school though. Like we'd get like for instance, I'll give you a crazy thing. I got 1270 on my SATs, but I was getting C's and D's. Because when in my school you didn't do homework, they'd have points off your grade if you didn't do homework. I'm like, I'm going to do homework? I'm playing 3 sports. I'm going home at like 7 o'clock after practice. I'm not going to do homework. That's stupid. But I wasn't a great student. I was a smart kid. And when I got into college, I barely squeaked into college, and I started to buck up in college. But in high school and in junior high, I was I was playing sports. I would do enough to play on the teams. You have to get certain grades. I would do enough just to play on the teams. Because if you don't get a certain grade, you couldn't play.
Right.
That's my only incentive, was to play.
All right. So sports kept you busy, kept you out of trouble.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about getting out of high school, going to college, that kind of stuff.
Sure. I went to college only because my grandfather paid for it. I'll tell you that. He paid for it, and he said if I get decent grades, he would pay for a whole apartment in Boston. And to me, and he'd pay for my car payment. He'd pay for everything. If I didn't have that, I wouldn't have got through college. I mean, I got through college because he got me an apartment, got me a car, paid for the college. I went to Emerson in Boston. So it was more of a school for if you're going to be a writer or communication. Like Jay Leno went there.
Oh, okay.
Henry Winkler went there. Paul Rubens, Pee Wee Herman went there. It was more like Boston people that were going to get into either broadcasting or TV or something.
That kind of
Acting
stuff.
or writing. Like I wanted to be a sports writer. And I tried that a little bit after college, but it was I had the hustler mentality from my father. That's the problem. So when I got out of college,
not such a bad thing.
It was in the beginning. It's not such a bad thing in the end. Like when I got out of college, like literally, I graduated college in June of 1992. So in June of 1992, what am I going to do? I don't know what to do. I always wanted to move to Fort Lauderdale. My grandmother had a place. I was sick of the weather in Mass. I love the people in Massachusetts, but it's cold. It's cold from October to May. I've had April baseball games snowed out. I was sick of that. Oh yeah, that's Mass for you. Massachusetts in April, it could be, you could get up in the morning and it's 30 degrees. You could go to lunch, you could go to recess, or not recess, but like gym at 12 o'clock that day in high school, and it's 70. And then by 4 o'clock, it's 30. And then playing the baseball game at 5:30, it's snowing. That could be a day in April. It's craziness, right? So I knew I was going to move to Florida, so I did. It started getting cold in 2000, and then I moved to, in 1992, I moved to South Florida with no plan, nothing. Like, I think I had like $4,000 saved up, and that's it. $4,000 doesn't last you. Because when you go, I went to Hollywood, and the $4,000 when you're young. Back then I was young. I'm in shape. I had all my hair, everything. You know, I had a tan. You know, I mean, I'm only looking for young Latinas. That's it. And I spent my $4,000 in like, I'm looking for Venezuelan girl, all that. So I'm going to the beach. I'm going to and $4,000 goes like this.
Yeah, 100%.
So my grandfather came down for his 6 months, you know, because they have a condo, and said, "What are you going to do with your life?" I said, "I don't know." I was tanned and was happy, but I was broke. So he said, "Listen, I got a job for you." He knew a guy that had a marketing firm in Miami, got me a job. I worked there like 3 weeks. I said, "I can't do this, man. I'm working, listen to this guy, getting up at 7 o'clock in the morning. I don't like this." So I quit. Stupid. I let my grandfather down, and I quit. But what am I going to do? You know, I mean, what's your plan? So this is how I got into business. My grandfather said, "We got to meet for lunch." So we do. We meet for lunch, and he says, "You can't be a bum. You know, I paid for your education. What are you going to do?" And he says, "You want to get into business like your father? You want to be an entrepreneur?" I go, "Yes." He goes, "Okay, in 30 days, meet me back here for lunch, and you better have a business plan. And if it's good, I'll fund it." So I don't know what am I going to do, right? Like I don't know. What am I going to do, right? And so I have 30 days to think of something. I don't know how much he's going to give me. I don't even know the budget. I just know he said, "Think of something good and come back to me in 30 days. Okay. So it's like 2 weeks go by. I'm like half-ass doing it. And I got to buck up, right? This is 92. No, this is the beginning of 93. So beginning of 1993. And what's big in South Florida at the time, I keep going to convenience stores, is phone cards. Like, you're too young, but you'd see all these phone cards, mostly to different countries.
Those were the phone cards you used, the $5, $10 cards to call like
exactly.
Cuba or Mexico or whatever.
Exactly.
I remember those. I'm Cuban, so I remember when I was a kid, my parents used to use
But
it.
in the early 90s, they're everywhere. Like, if you go to a convenience store, you can't barely see the guy because he's got all the phone cards. Right. Everybody's buying phone cards. But 95% of it's international. So I said, what if I get one for the United States? There's a lot of people in Florida that have people they know in New York and Massachusetts. What if you call California?
Back then, that was long distance. You're right. Yeah.
Right. So I'm thinking maybe there's a niche here. I don't know. I'm off the wing now, right? Okay. So I actually went to a guy to print up. Like, it was a guy who did printing of posters and stuff. And he wasn't like a Kinko's, but he was like, he did, if you want to do a flyer or a business card.
He was like a mom and pop shop printer.
Exactly, mom and pop shop. That I said, "Can you make me one of those phone cards?" He goes, "Yeah, that's a weird request, but yeah." I told him why I wanted to get into the business, and I wanted to say America Connect, and red, white, and blue, whatever you want to put, like an American theme. He said, "Oh, that's weird," and I want you to put a scratch off thing like in back, with no numbers, but just to show that it's a scratch off thing, to show a template one, and he does. So I show it to my grandfather. Okay. But here's the thing. How am I going to get airtime for this card? Like, I don't have so unannounced, I go to AT&T's office in Miami and say I have an appointment. I suit up. I look good. I'm young, right? I say I have an appointment with, I looked up to who the head of the phone card division was. A guy named Ben Jones. And Ben Jones was an older character. He's about 75 years old, ready to retire. And Ben says, "Do I have a meeting with you?" I said, "Yeah, you don't remember? I called you on Thursday, right?" And he's like, "Are you sure?" I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "Maybe I do." I go, "Just come in." So I tell him, I got this phone card. I show him. I said, "This is what I want to do. I want to put America Connect, and I want to put the phone card out. I want to hire girls to go get all the convenience stores, put posters up." And I made a poster, too, also, that said America Connect. He goes, "That's a pretty good idea." And I said, "I need airtime for you. But I need airtime for you like I was buying 10 million minutes. I can't, not like I'm buying like a small amount of minutes. I don't know what the budget is of my grandfather." Okay. He goes, "You have to at least buy $25,000 worth of minutes. Really, it's 30,000, but I'll let you slide with 25,000. And you need to make up a lot of those phone cards." I said, "I know that. And you need to have an office with these people. You need to have them go out. There's a lot of stuff I need." So I figured I'd need at least 50 grand. And 50 grand in 1993, that's a chunk of change.
It's a lot of money.
Okay. I go to my grandfather, I show him this. Now, this is what I get Ben to do. Ben's an old timer, right? I get him to sign something saying that he would give me the minutes with AT&T's logo on it.
Like the letterhead.
So I show it to my grandfather. He's like, "Oh, okay, AT&T's involved." I didn't say AT&T was going to be involved in the card because they're not going to put their name on the card. My grandfather doesn't know that. So my grandfather gives me the money, gives me the 50 grand.
All right, guys, taking a quick break from Honor Among Thieves podcast to bring you a word from our sponsor, and that is Federal Prison Tips. At Federal Prison Tips, we help people navigate the justice system from indictment, re-entry, everywhere in between. Whether you're a loved one trying to get relief for someone that you love that is in federal prison, you are currently in federal prison, or about to go to federal prison, we can definitely help you. Everything from plea mitigation, sentencing mitigation, PRSAR challenges, anything about guidance while you're in prison, actually what to expect if you're a first timer and have never been there. Whether this is your second case, third case, you haven't quite learned your lesson yet. Either way, we can help you with everything that has to do with federal prison. Good time, FSA, second chance credits, getting designated to a facility. Any issues you might be having within the federal prison system, we can definitely help. Honor Among Thieves podcast. Mention that you saw us on the podcast and you'll get special rates only given to those who listen to the podcast. Again, 407-434-0175, extension 7. Hit us up, federalprisontips.com. Contact us. Let them know you heard about them through me. Now let's get back to the show. So how much money did your grandfather give you?
So he gives me the $50,000, and I'm shocked. He gives me a check for $50,000. Okay. Now a real snake would go take the $50,000 and go to the Seminole. Like, there's no Hard Rock at the time, but go to Vegas and put it on a game and double it or lose it all. I'm not that bad. So, and I'm a little ambitious. So I'm thinking this could work. Okay. So I go pay for the minutes, the $25,000 for the minutes. I go get an office. I go get more posters, and I start hiring girls, like pretty girls, like pretty Spanish girls specifically. So I get 10 girls to go out there and try to get convenience stores with America Connect.
They were your salespeople.
They were my salespeople.
Okay.
So they went out and got, in the first 2 months, I had 700 convenience stores from Palm Beach to Monroe.
First 2 months?
2 months.
From Pompano to the Keys?
Yes.
Wow.
No, from Palm Beach to the Keys.
From Palm Beach to the Keys?
Yes.
All three counties?
All three counties had a little...
Four counties. Four counties.
Yeah, 4 counties.
Wow.
Yeah, Palm Beach, Broward, Dade, and
Monroe.
I had a little over 750 convenience stores. Convenience stores and bodegas and little stores and like news stores and all that stuff.
How much money is that? Like how much? Because I don't know how the profit margins are.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I got to see how I sell. They just got the stores to say yes. Maybe it's because they were gorgeous Latinas.
Right.
Like, I mean, if the girl looks like Ava Mendez, the guy might say yes just because of that. And it's where you put you in the store, too. They could put me way in back of the, there's a lot of variables. Okay. So listen to this. It starts selling, and it starts ticking up a little bit. Like the third month I was making in my pocket about 20 grand. Profit. From after
nothing,
paying the girls, after paying the girls' commission, after paying for the airtime, after paying for the cards, after paying for everything, the percentage to the store, I about 3 months in, I think I made $18,000 profit the third month.
From nothing 3 months earlier.
No, nothing. Well, the $50,000 from my grandfather. I still got to pay my grandfather back.
I mean, to profit $17,000 in 90 days,
yes.
That's...
Oh, no, without a doubt. And my grandfather's, I was about to pay him 10 grand of it back, but he's like, no, he knows I have to run a business. So my grandfather just wanted basically $1,000 a month back. That was cool. 50 months, $1,000 a month. No pressure, right? Okay. So what's crazy is, I always tell people, I'm a great hustler, but I'm not a great CEO. I don't see the future. I should see the future 2 years from now. I should see what's going to happen, but I don't. I just go straight forward. So I go a million miles an hour ahead. Okay, so that's what I do. I get more stores. I get more girls. I start going up to Orlando. I start going to Tampa. We're
expanding super fast.
Super fast. Okay. So, and like I said, I had no money. My bank account was nothing when my grandfather gave me $50. I think I had $18. So we start expanding. And the girls are making money, and everybody's happy. Now, I'm about 10 months in. And about 10 months in, I'm starting to make 50 grand a month in my pocket. 50, 60 grand. I think the biggest month was 70 grand.
How old are you?
22.
22 years old in 1993.
I was 23.
23
in 1993. The summer of 93, I was 23.
Making 50 grand in a month?
Yeah.
That,
Oh, yeah. I was like...
That was money back then.
Oh, no, it's great, big money. So I went and got a Corvette. I was stupid with the money. I got a place in Hollandale Beach next to the Diplomat, where the Diplomat is now, and I was rolling, right? I start spending money, of course. I start going out to eat, taking people out to eat. All the girls that work for me, obviously, I'm only Latinas, so I was the gringo, and then everything was great, right? I'm the king, right? So I'm making probably 3-4 months in a row, making 50 grand at least. So now my bank account has 300 grand in there. Wow. And now the bank's saying, you want a personal banker? I'm like, personal banker? I'm just, I'm a kid. I mean, I
Like
went
a
to college, but I mean, I'm not a.
I'm like a broke ass kid from Boston.
Yes. A broke ass hustling kid from Boston with $300,000 in his pocket now. Okay. So I'm about a year in. This is what I don't see. This is what I should see. And I should set groundwork to get around it, and I don't. Like, I go out there a year. Who do you think I'm showing this can work to? Who do you think I'm showing? AT&T.
Oh.
AT&T's going. And they're giving me the minutes, right? Okay. So it took them time to ramp up what they were thinking about doing.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, I'm not thinking about that. And like a year in, I went from making $50,000 a month to making about $3,000 a month because they put out an AT&T card called USA Connect.
And they just stole
and their minutes were better, and their rates were better, and everything was better. So I didn't see that. Okay, I didn't see that coming. So that really killed my business. I mean, I went from like 100 miles an hour to 2 miles an hour. It had to lay off a lot of girls, and then 4 or 5 months later, I'm only making enough to pay like overhead and a couple of girls, and it's like, and I got out of it. But I still got like $250,000-$300,000 in the bank,
right?
Which is a lot of money. So I'm like 24 years old, and now I'm doing nothing. So when you do nothing at 24 for about a year, money goes quick.
Very fast.
Money goes pretty quick when you're absolutely doing nothing, and you find ways to go something to do at 24. I mean, at 24, there's a lot of things to do, a lot of ways to spend money. Okay, right. So I'm sad to say that within a year, I have about maybe $30,000 left.
Burning through money.
Burning. Okay. So now I got to do something, right? I got to maybe think about doing that. I paid back my grandfather, by the way. I didn't pay him $1,000. I eventually paid him back.
Paid him the
right, which is cool, which is smart, because you can go back to grandpa, right? Of
course.
Okay. So now all I could think of was like, and this is how I got into business opportunities. This is how I eventually got into my sixth one and went to jail. How do I get into biz ops? This is how I do. I said, if I made it here, why couldn't I teach somebody to do that in Seattle, Washington? But I don't know how to make money. I don't know any of what I'm thinking of is a business opportunity.
Right.
So I go to a lawyer and he says, well, that's biz ops. You're thinking of a biz op. You want to sell it as a package, show them how to do it, and sell them all the cards yourself. And I still got the name USA Connect. That's still trademarked with me. So I made a business package, and I started getting licensed in states what the lawyer told me to do. And that took up a lot of the $30,000. I went and got an office and started doing advertising. I did advertising in like newspapers back then. There was no internet. So like in the New York Times, it says profit off of phone cards, like, Popular selling phone cards. And USA Connect sounded like I was big.
Right.
I always had names that sounded like I was big. Like the Red Bull stuff, my company was named Creative Concepts of America. It sounds good, big, right?
Right.
We had employees, but it wasn't huge. So I started selling business opportunities packages where I would sell somebody 10,000 phone cards, the minutes. I would teach them how to start the business, and I would do all that for $20,000 this is back in 1994. And we put out advertising, and I started selling business opportunities. Now, I ran that for a year and made very good money. I probably made in a year maybe $500,000. So life is good, right?
Life is very
But again, I don't see what's going to happen. Like, I don't look to 2 years from now.
Same problem. Yeah, you don't see like...
I don't see what could potentially happen. So what potentially happened was these people realized they can go get deals themselves. Like, they don't need me. And they didn't. I had no leverage, and I knew I had no leverage. But I thought they would be happy with me. But they know they could probably make another 3 cents off a phone card. Not much, but 3 cents is 3 cents, right?
Right.
And I can't compete with that. So they slowly started to do that. So that's what started my whole working for 2 years and then taking a year off type of thing. So now I got $500,000 in the bank, and I'm 25 years old, and I just got married to my wife. And so I'm going to take off a year, which is my MO, right? I'm going to sit by the pool. We just got a house. My daughter wasn't born yet. She wasn't born, but I just got married, 95. So I do nothing for a year. But then the wife doesn't want to be a bum. I mean, what am I going to do? The money goes quick. I just put a down payment on a house, bought a car, and now I'm burning money again. Same MO, which is stupid in hindsight. Why can't I just find something and go? Okay.
Right.
So my next one, it's crazy how I found it. I was at a Claire's Boutiques. You know Claire's Boutiques?
Yeah.
It's like a teenage girl's accessory place. So I haven't been doing anything for a year and a half. My wife is pissed. I got money still, but I mean, she's like, hey, you going to do something? So I see these girls at Claire's Boutiques and they're buying stickers. They're buying 2 sheets of stickers, like glittery stickers. And this is 1995, and the guy says, oh, that'll be $17.95. What? And I said to my wife, but can I talk to these girls? The girls are only like 11, 12 years old. She goes, okay, what are you going to ask them? I said, girls, did you just pay $17.95 for 2 sheets of stickers? Oh, yeah, we love them. They come out with new ones. They come out with unicorns and all this stuff. What? And I'm like, I got to get into something like this. I don't know how. I don't know what I'm going to profit off this, but this is unbelievable markup. Okay. So within a month, I think of this crazy idea of making, you know, the old photo booths.
Yeah.
Okay. You like the old photo booths, right? Takes your picture and puts it on. It's kind of fun, right? So what if a kid could get in a photo booth type of thing, and instead of your picture, he takes your picture, but instead of putting it on like a regular picture board, it puts it on stickers. Like your face in the middle of $1 million bill, your face next to Santa in the Santa theme. But it's your face. Your face in prison bars like this. Like just gitchy stickers, right? So I don't know if that's going to work. I don't even know if they can make a machine like that. I don't even know, right? So I call, like some of the manufacturers of machines, and they say, I don't think I can make that. Like, I don't know if I can make that. Then I call a company called Namco. You ever heard of Namco? It's a Japanese company. Way back in the day, they made like different machines. Like I think they made asteroids or something. Like, it's a company called Namco, and they're Japanese. So I go meet them. Like I call for it. They're like, we'll meet you. What do you want to talk about? I want to talk about a machine. I don't want to talk too much about, well, they steal it or something, whatever. So I met with them in New York. I go fly up, and I tell them I want this sticker machine. I want to call it the Sticker Club. Okay. And it takes their picture and puts it on different stickers. Can you make a computer that puts all kinds of graphics and gives them like 16, I want postcard stickers, like little postcards, and put 16 of them on one and charge them like $5 for it or $3 for it. Could you make that? And they're like, yeah, we could definitely make that. I'm like, really? What would you charge me for a machine? Well, it'd just be a computer in there, and then it'd be, and I wouldn't make a booth, they said. It's too big. I'd make a stand-up machine like a video machine, but with a background.
Right.
Like with a hanging background, so they could separate them to the, thing. And I go, okay. And I told them, I'm going to sell this through the business opportunities. And I showed them my other business opportunity. And I want to market this for you. Can you make me a prototype? And they did. They made me a prototype called the Sticker Club machine. Now, here's the crazy part about it. You know where Claire's Boutiques was headquarters at that time? Pembroke Pines, Florida.
Wow.
Just a coincidence. I go up to Claire's Boutiques. They're like, yeah, we'll put them in the stores. Tell your distributors. They got built-in locations now. Excuse me. So I told my distributors when they bought, you can put them in Claire's Boutiques, which is great. Perfect. So that lasted 3 years because I had a 3-year contract with them. And they did everything for me. The Japanese guys at Namco were great. But I knew after 3 years they were, so I did for those 3 years, for 95, 96, 97, into 98, they were great. But that day happened, they took it over. So I knew that. That's okay. I sold about a little over 1,300 of those machines. And those machines were more money. I would sell a minimum of 3 of those machines back then for $20,000 though. So they were like almost 7,000 a machine, plus film, what we call film, the stickers that put it on and all that stuff. And they would continuously buy those from me. So they gave me 3 years, and I ran with it for 3 years and made great money.
But this time you knew at the end of the 3 years,
I'm going
to have to find something different.
So I was looking that last year for other opportunities. I did but I did still spend about 6 months at the pool after that because I had some money in the bank. So I didn't spend as much time, but in 98, I spent about 6 months in the pool.
How much money did you walk away with that business from?
In the bank, I had about $800,000.
So every time you're like,
yes,
leveling up a little
absolutely,
bit.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
So that one about 6 months, and the next one, how I get into it was really funny. I'm at the grocery store. I'm at Publix, and I'm looking at these 2 young boys, maybe 5 years old, 6 years old, buying gumballs.
Okay.
And I'm looking at these kids going, and I never realized this, do people still buy gumballs? But they're always at the store, so they must do well, right? They must do something. Remember those gumballs are crank machines? And
I still see them here and there.
Right. I mean, but and I'm looking at the kids, and this is what I realized. 2 things I realized. One, they still buy them. They buy them for $0.25, and that gumball costs 2 cents. But the sanitation, the kid was picking his nose and getting the gumball. Oh. Like think about it. Remember there was the metal thing? There's no sanitation there. Yeah. So I'm grinding on this, saying what if there was a machine that had an adult product and also a kid's product, like both would buy, and then it was wrapped. So for sanitation, I don't know what the product's going to be. I have no idea. But there's got to be something in that realm, right? Okay. Listen to this. I go walk the store. I tell my wife, I got to brainstorm. Okay, I'm going to walk the store. I walk the store, and at that time in late 98, something was coming out called the Nuggets, the Hershey chocolate. Remember those? They were little nuggets, like they were bite-sized. They weren't Kisses. They were Nuggets. But they had cookies and cream one. They had a regular one. They had an almond one. It was just bite-sized nuggets. And I'm thinking to myself, what if somebody could make a gumball machine that put out the Hershey chocolates? Instead of a gumball, you crank it and the chocolate comes out. And you could put it where you twist till you find the choice, like I want almond, and then the almond drops. And you put them in like takeout restaurants and the laundromats, and you put them in wherever they can go, right? I said, what if that can happen, right? So I go to a bunch of manufacturers. I go to CDI, which is called CDI in Miami. They make gumball machines. And CDI was like, yeah, we can make that machine easy. We can retrofit it. And I can't put Hershey on the side, but I can put a clear front that sees the Hershey chocolate inside. Okay. So I get the crew up again. I get the office started, and I get licensed in all 50 states. I do the routine again. I make the business. I'm making it sound easy, but making the business package takes a lot of talent to make a business package. I knew how to do it. That's a whole other show about how I structure the business opportunity. Like, I'm making it sound easy. It's not. Not everybody can do it. I had a lot of employees that worked for me, said, I can do that. Let me go make one. And they never made it because I knew how to do that. Like, that was my thing. Okay. We start selling these. Now, back in 98, 99, I marketed a way that was kind of not skeevy, but people didn't like. I spammed. I had a spammer. If you don't know what spam is, it's unsolicited email. I'd have a lady that would send $2 million in like a blast. The $2 million like off of a server in Russia or something. I don't know how she did it. Her name was Jan Brown out of Arizona. So she'd send like $2 million, and I'd get like 1,000 responses. And my salespeople would take the leads and sell to people. And you get a lot of people to call you saying like F you, I don't want the spam. It says on it you can delete yourself from the list, but they still call and like press the button on you, like say I'm going to kill your mother and stuff. Do some crazy stuff. Oh yeah, just by getting a spam. But it was a good way to advertise. So I was selling a lot. In 99, I sold a lot of those little gumball machines. I sold about 50,000 of those machines. So these machines for CDI, they were making so many. I was buying them for $80. That's it. $80 for the whole stand-up machine with like a bolt thing on the floor and like everything.
Wow, that's cheap. And
I was selling 30 of those with candy for $10,000. Now the machines only cost me $24. I was giving them like $500 worth of candy. There's a good amount of leeway in there. Right. They're looking at those machines going, they're probably worth $300, right? Thinking they got a good deal. Like $300 times 30, that's $9,000. The guy's hardly making anything. The guy's hardly making anything. Okay, so I did very well with that. Now, I forgot one big thing for the future though with that, and most people can't see it. Like what I did, you can't point. What would have me stop making nothing within a day?
If Hershey started selling the machines just like it happened with AT&T and the cards, right?
Well, no. Here's what happens, and I really did see it, but ignored myself when I was saying it. You can't patent a gumball machine. It's a gumball machine.
Right.
There's about 30 manufacturers in the country that make gumball machines. So these 30 manufacturers see me blasting online. I'm everywhere, right? So they say, I can make that machine for like $50, $60 and charge the person like $100.
Right.
Like if he's charging 30 for 10,000, I'll sell each individual machine for $150 and be happy with that.
Right.
So they used my advertising to go out there and blast it. I'll sell you this machine for. Now here's when I first started. Here's a story I'd like to tell though. Like Hershey called me right away. When I was doing this marketing, I put on the spam, I put profit off of America's best-selling chocolate. That doesn't say Hershey.
Right.
Which I can legally say, but everybody knows it's Hershey. Hershey calls me up, no, you can't do that. Okay. I go fly up and meet with them in Hershey, Pennsylvania, in their boardroom. Okay, and I bring a machine. And they have a big, huge boardroom. Like it's like a movie. Like the boardroom is like, could fit 90 people. It's like huge. Like you barely see the end of it. And everybody had Eggs Benedict. It was 9 o'clock in the morning. Picture 90 guys with suits eating Eggs Benedict. Like good Eggs Benedict. I'm saying these guys in Hershey, like live it. And then they're there to talk to me. So I bring out the machine. They say, what are you doing with that machine? I said, I'm selling it. Obviously, you see. Oh, we don't want Hershey involved in this. Well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't say Hershey anywhere in my thing. And, well, I don't know. This is nothing to us, and we're going to stop you for your lawyers. I'm like, what? She will prove to us it ain't nothing for us. This is really how they talked. Prove to us this means something to us. And I'm thinking in my mind, that's easy. So I say, I've already sold 30,000 of these machines. Okay? Doesn't sound like a lot, but it's 30,000. And I asked the guy, this is the vice president of sales for Hershey. How many of these little chocolates at a convenience store in the whole 15-hour day, how many of these little chocolates do you think can sell? He says, oh, at least probably 2 or 3 an hour. Okay, let's take 2 an hour. Take 2 an hour. 15-hour day is 30 chocolates a day. That's nothing. What's 30 times 30,000? That's 9 million.
Right.
That's 9 million. That's 9 million chocolates a day. 9 million a day. That's 270 million chocolates a month. That's a lot of chocolate, right? This guy's going, and I go, here's the big part. That's not the kicker. This is the big part. To get out all those chocolates, to get out all those Hershey chocolates, you know what it's going to cost you, Mr. Jones? Nothing. And they went, oh, that's pretty good. We might let this kid do this.
AT&T all over again.
Right. It was AT&T, but they weren't going to steal. They weren't. I know they're not going to steal. They're not in the chocolate business.
No,
they're in the chocolate business, not in the vending business.
But what I'm saying is, you've mastered the art of getting into rooms
yes.
where big opportunities
I
are
absolutely
available.
did. Right.
Yeah.
And skewing it where it's a win-win for them, and it was a win-win. Like when it's a win-win, it's not that much difficult. It's difficult to get your way in, to be articulate enough, to present yourself enough where you're young enough and you're brash enough and you dress the part. There's a whole schematic to it.
Right.
And you're confident enough the way you talk about it to make them believe. And I was genuinely confident. People don't realize there's 3 things you need in sales. To be the best salesman ever, you need 3 things. And these 3 things, you'll never be great without them. You can sell without them, but you never be great without them. And I'll tell everybody. Okay, 1 is enthusiasm. You don't have to be giddy schoolgirl about it, but you have to like it. You have to pitch something like this. Say you saw, what street do you live on right now?
I live on Flagler Street.
Flagler. If you, on Flagler Street tomorrow, found a pot of gold that spit gold at 4 o'clock and you told your aunt about it, how would you tell her?
I'd freak out.
You wouldn't tell her, oh, by the way, at 4 o'clock, there's a thing that spits gold. You could go to it if you want.
I'd be super ecstatic and loud. And yeah.
There you go, because you're excited about it, right? Okay, that's why you should pitch something. Really? You mean, not you didn't say that. That's the way you should pitch something. Okay, that's the first thing. The second thing is very important. Everybody says product knowledge. No, it's not about product knowledge. It's about anything they ask you, you can answer. That's the product knowledge. But it's also knowledge about everything involved in it.
Right.
There's nothing they could ask me about my businesses that I couldn't answer for them in 2 seconds. Don't stutter. Because I know you got people up here that have been to prison. What's your charge? Well, you must have did something wrong. You don't stutter.
Right.
You ask me something, I'm not going to stutter. Okay? So that's the second thing. Here's the third thing that's most important. Never be afraid to lose the deal. Don't beg them. Listen to me. Don't beg them. The easiest sale to do is when you just did a sale. You know why? Because if you lose it, you're not going to be that excited.
Don't care. Yep.
So most people, they're not begging, actually, please do the deal. In their voice, they're begging, though. But are you going to beg that person to go to Flagler Street at 4 o'clock for the gold? You're going to think they're stupid if they don't do it, right? Well, I'm going to pitch where you're stupid if you don't do it.
Right.
I'm not going to tell them that, but you see what I'm saying. Those are the 3 things you need. And that's what I had. I had that in spades. I had that like crazy. So that's why I was a closer. So with the Hershey Nuggets, my downfall was I didn't realize that anybody can make a gumball machine. Anybody can make it to retrofit that. So they did. They started doing it. So I went from, again, 80 miles an hour to 0. But I had money. And then I went.
This time, how long was the run with the Hershey stuff?
About a year and a half. Maybe a little, maybe a little more than about 20 months.
Okay.
And so.
Super profitable?
Crazy profitable.
Okay.
Now I made about. What I paid taxes on? No, I'm just kidding. I probably made about 1.4.
Yeah. So this took you to a whole nother level.
Yes.
Yeah.
Took me a whole nother level. Yes. Enough where I stopped it in 2000. Enough between 2000 and 2002, I didn't do anything. But spend money, and again the pool, and then again a bum. I was a great dad in the neighborhood though. I was playing wiffle ball games and organizing them. I was doing. I was taking people to school. My daughter was at the time in 2002 was 5. I'm going to kindergarten with these kids. I'm going to first grade.
You're just shopping around the field trips.
Absolutely everything. Going to all the games. I mean, I'm it, right? Because I'm in the day I'm home.
Right.
So it's funny because this was the catalyst for me not to do anything. This was the big fight between me and my wife. In 2003. And all the women in the neighborhood, it's funny. A lot of them. I mean, it's South Florida. A lot of them were like Latin, like the Venezuelan. My wife's Peruvian. There was another Peruvian across the street. A lot of these gringos are married to the Latinas. And some of them were married to Latin guys, but most of them were married to gringos, right? This was in Davie, a place called Ponciana on Shenandoah. And the house I bought, in 99, I bought it for like $200,000, went up to $700,000, like quick, the market. It was a nice neighborhood. It was all families. But like people looking at me like he's at home a lot, right? But I got a lot of money I don't need to work, right? I mean, you need to work to be, I'm like at the time I'm 31 years old. Like I'm not,
Right.
But my wife again is like, hey, what are you going to do? So what's crazy, the catalyst was, this is going to sound crazy. My wife at the time, like, I don't know if you're old enough to remember 2003, right? I mean, okay. Remember Florida for cosmetic surgery?
Yeah,
Just one look,
Yep.
it takes 1,000. Everybody's getting breast enhancements. Everybody. I didn't even ask my wife. I didn't even know how it came up, but my wife all of a sudden, I'm going to go like, all right, I don't know if I requested it or whatever. But I'm not going to say no, right? So we go to get the surgery for her. And then every guy in the neighborhood was like, please talk to my wife. And like within 3 months, all the neighborhood.
All the wives in the neighborhood.
Right. Except one dude across from me. He did fireworks and his wife wouldn't do it. He's like, please convince my wife. I'm like, I can't convince her, but she's pissed. He's pissed because everybody else got them. Like literally 10 people. I could have got commission off that. So my wife's like, I mean, did you convince these women? No, I really didn't. Vicky, I didn't. Like they just see you. And they said, if you could do it, like, 'cause my wife was always petite. Like she's like 5 foot tall, like 102 pounds. And like they think if she could survive it, just be a little sore, right? Okay. And so what happened was my wife now is saying, you got to get something to do. Like you're busy telling these girls to do it. Like, come on now. Like now she's like, you got to get out of the house. I'm here in the neighborhood too much, right? And so I'm looking for other things. So my next was ATM machines I thought were owned by the banks. I really did. And 90% of ATM machines are owned by individuals. Even the ones you see at the banks, most of those are owned by individuals.
Really?
Yes. They might be owned by a company, but the individual owns like 100 ATMs.
Right.
But like, yeah, even the ones at the bank, like for instance, if you lose $20 at the bank and they take you 20, you go to the teller, they'll say, oh, you have to call a customer. We don't even do that. It's not even ours. I didn't even know that. And it's especially the ones that like the strip clubs that charge $5.
Oh my God.
The airports, right. The airports, like
the
those
malls.
are owned by people.
Right.
Now, here's the thing. It's tough to do a biz op with them, not because I can't get a wholesale price on the machine, but when you buy 10 ATM machines, you have to put cash in there. You have to float like 30 grand a machine. Not only have to buy the machines, you have to float 300 grand to do 10 machines. You don't lose it, but you never get it. Like it's always out there. People don't like that. So now my brain goes like, how could I sell it without it? So, I'm a little screwed up. I'm going to think of a way to sell it without that. And everybody's like, what? So I said, what if the machine spits out a piece of paper? You go to the register and get it. It's called a script ATM machine. It's like 2002. I don't even know if it exists or not, right? Again, I do my research. I get a manufacturer to make me a machine that's a stand-up machine that has no money in there. But now you got to get places. It's tougher to get locations because location has to say yes to give them money. But we're starting to get McDonald's in California. We're starting to say yes for some reason. Like McDonald's says, hey, call out California. They're very liberal. They'll put something like an East Coast person wouldn't. So we got a bunch of California McDonald's to say, you know what? Bet. Put it in here. Because you know why? Back then, like people use cash way more than now. People hardly use cash then. Back in 2003, people were still using cash. So if you went out to get $40 from the ATM through the register, you're more apt to get more at McDonald's with the $40. Does that make sense? Okay. So it was kind of a selling tool. And then plus you might not stop by McDonald's. You might stop by for the ATM, but then I'll get a burger or something. It's just foot traffic. It was a decent pitch. So I did that for about a year only because it didn't hit a home run. Like some of them I hit home runs with. I hit about a double with that. It sold, but people were reticent about like, hey, people want cash, does the script work? But I did that for about a little over a year and stayed licensed with the company because I did it on the Creative Conscious America. So I stayed licensed. Like before I would shut down the country, get a new name. So I stayed licensed into 2004. Kept the office, which is crazy. Usually I don't keep offices, but I kept the office. So now again, the pressure doesn't come from my wife. Guess who it comes from?
The workforce.
All the salespeople that say, hey, what are you going to do next? And I'm like, what am I going to do next? Why don't you go out and get a job? Like, what are you doing? Are you serious?
Yeah.
Like people will call me up, like when I took a year off, like salespeople will call me up and say, like, what are you going to do? What are you doing? What are you going to do? You don't have a job yet? Like, you haven't worked for me in a year.
Right.
You want to say something real crazy? I was in prison for 13 years, and people call me when I get out of prison. What am I going to do?
Wow.
That's crazy. What have you been doing with your life for 13 years?
That means your deals were good, though, because people wanted to work for you.
You're right. But it also means that those people were really like looking in the workforce and I can't get a job as good as that, because I was very generous, too generous to like with commissions and pay. And I would take the workforce out like once a week to get dinner, like and like thought I was a big shot. I wasn't doing it necessarily because I loved everybody, but
You're doing it to show off.
Yeah, it was a bit blatant. My wife hated that because people like took it for granted that I was going to go take out 20 workers, you know, at Wolfgang Puck's and go blow a G.
Right.
I was doing it to say I'm the man, and I did that too much, because when you know the SH hits the fan, they're nowhere to be found.
Right.
So it was kind of like for me to be the big boss. So yes, but I would be shocked that like I said, 13 years in prison they're calling me after my last one. Okay, so in 2004 they start to call me like, hey, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? And again, now I'm comfortable. I'm not rich, but I'm comfortable. You know, I probably have like $400,000 in the bank now, and like, you know, paid off my house. My house keeps going up in value. So, you know, I got a 7 Series BMW. I'm like, you know, this is 2004. I'm living life. My daughter's like 7 years old, taking her to elementary school. You know, do I really need to do something? Of course you do. Like, and again, you know, but you think about it and you go, maybe I can invest in the stock market. Maybe I don't have to like I can go into real estate or something. Like, maybe not. But here's the thing. I tell people this and people don't understand it. You do what you do. Does that make any sense?
100%.
Like you do what you're good at, but you also do what you're passionate at that doesn't feel like work.
Right.
Like when I'm doing all those business opportunities, for one, I'm great at it. For two, nobody has to teach me anything. But here's the big thing, the third thing. Like, that's where I get my juice.
Right.
Like, I gamble. Like, you get juice gambling. You get juice going after girls. There's a lot of places you get juice on. I never was a drug user, but my brother unfortunately passed away from drugs. He got the juice from drugs. I got my juice from somebody getting a business package, seeing my ad 2 days before, and calling up my sales guy and saying, what do I do next? What do I do next? Well, here's how you fill out the purchase order and send me $50,000. So that's where I got my juice. That's bad, though. Not that I would do anything to get it, but just like I don't know anything else. Like, that's what I knew. That was my lane. So in 2004, I'm really looking and can't find anything, but I'm going to convenience stores, and the only thing that looks like it's way on the rise, that's on the rise like this, the only thing is energy drinks. Red Bull, Monster, Rockstar, Amp. I'm seeing Red Bull everywhere. This is 2004. End of 2003, beginning of 2004, in that period. And Red Bull's everywhere. I'm like, what's the deal with this Red Bull? And then I go to convenience stores. They said, we sell crazy amount. We sell a lot of the Monster, the Amp, the all of it, Rockstar, all of it. We sell mostly Red Bull. Okay. How do I get involved with it? I have no idea at this point, because I can't be a bottler. They already have people that distribute it. I can't be a bottler. I know that. But how can I get involved with this unbelievably selling energy drinks? Like, it is. It's like, even anybody could see that's going crazy. Okay. Right. And even Coke is getting like scared. There was ads in the paper there was quotes from Coke that said, hey, I don't know. I don't think we can compete against this. Because Coke you drink for refreshment. Energy drinks you drink for energy, right?
Right.
Okay. It's not the same league. So Coke is scared. Okay. So I said, wait a minute now. This is what I saw. I saw Red Bull was an 8-ounce can. Remember, it was before they had even different flavors. They just smaller. Had one 8-ounce can back in 2004. Monster was bigger. Rockstar was bigger. A traditional can of Coke was 12 ounces.
Right.
There was no 12-ounce anything.
And all the other sodas were the same size.
Exactly. You know why? For vending. That's why they were the same out, because it's easy to put in a vending machine, right? They have all the same sleeves to go down the chute, right? Okay. Now, here's the crazy part. The vending machines are like really, for about 20, 25 years, didn't really do anything crazy. They were all the same looking machines. You might have a glass front now, might have a bubble front, but they really was no state-of-the-art vending machines for a while. It was the same old looking Coke machine, right? Okay. So, which is fine. They're working. As long as they work, it doesn't have to be gorgeous, as long as they work. Okay. Now, I'm thinking, what if they made a machine that could fit all the energy drinks? I don't even know if this is possible. So I search around for manufacturers. Now, it's tough now. Some of the people, that's going to be tough. And we had a place called Sega Manufacturing in Chicago. And And he says, I think I can do it. But he knew I could sell. Like, he sees my sales history. He wasn't a big manufacturing machines, because the big guys would be like, I don't know if I can get the space involved for you, and like, you need to be Coca-Cola and all that stuff. But he was like not small enough where he couldn't handle my volume, but big and not big enough where he goes, oh, I don't want to do it. So it was a good mix. He makes me a prototype. Excuse me. So the prototype, it takes about 3 months. He comes and gives me a prototype that looks decent, not gorgeous. It was 8 selections, all push button. You see the can, and you push it, and it's like clear, and you okay. And they put Monster, Rock, Amp, Red Bull, any kind of energy drink. I mean, we had Crunk back then. Remember, it was the Yin Yang twins, right? So we had anything to fill up the 8, but mostly Red Bull.
Pimp Juice, you remember that?
Pimp Juice, all that. So they all came to me to put in the machine. But Red Bull was the king. So we started selling those machines. Got the crew back together, get the office back together, start selling those machines. So what happened was, like, people liked it. Now, here's the thing. The machine was pretty generic looking. So I spruced it up with, it said Energy Center on the side. It was spruced up a little bit, but it's still generic. Oh, excuse me. So what happened was, we started selling those machines for 10 machines for $30,000. We didn't get into the cans because I just didn't want to get into the cans. I thought about it, but no. So I gave them to distributors in the area, and if they didn't want to deal with Costco and Sam's Club, Red Bull was about $1.27, $1.28. Monster was about $1.15. So still enough to charge $2 and make a good profit. So we sold in a year about 3,000 of those, a little over 3,000 of those machines. So we're doing pretty well, right? Okay. So now it comes the summer of 2005. So I've been doing this now for a little over a year. I'm making about 20, 30 grand a week. Life is good. I got about 20 salespeople. I got about 30 total employees. All right, life is good, right? Licensed in all 50 states. The manufacturer's treating me well. He's done well. Little hiccups sometimes with problems with machines, but he'd fix it. I mean, he was cool. He got a warranty on the machines and everything. So everything's good. And then one day in the summer of 2005, my secretary tells me that, the CEO of Red Bull's here to meet me.
Like the actual CEO of Red Bull.
The actual CEO, founder, Dietrich. Warren Schitz. I'm not even being facetious about his name. His name sounds like that. It's just, he pronounces it, but everybody pronounces it different. It's a very weird last name. But basically, we'll say Dietrich comes to my office from Austria. He's based out of Austria.
Wow.
Okay.
Like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Like Arnold Schwarzenegger times 10. He comes there with Gary Smith, was the CEO of Red Bull North America. He came and looked like a surfer. He came with a backpack. Dietrich's got a suit on. And Dietrich at the time was like early 60s. This is like 2005. I put him at late 50s, early 60s. And then a lawyer. So that's the three that came to my office. And my secretary, I said to the secretary, are you sure it's the founder of Red Bull? Like the CEO? And she says, yeah, that's what he tells me. I'm like, wow. So I look down the hall. I'm kind of like squinting. And I see him on the couch of my, in front of my, where I have a TV and he can sit there and wait, a waiting area.
Right.
And I look him up Google quick. I Google quick Dietrich. And that's the guy. He's worth like already $10 billion. He has a soccer team. He has a Formula One team. It's him. So I said, what is he doing here? So 2 things I thought. One, he's going to say, I can't use Red Bull's name, which I know I can. That doesn't bother me at all. What I'm doing with a push-button display, I don't have to get permission from Coke to put in the machine, I have to get permission from Coke to put Coke on the side of the machine.
Right.
But not to put it in a generic machine. No, not at all. You don't have to get permission from anybody to sell their product. You just can't put their logo on the machine.
Your stuff,
right.
Yeah.
But a vending machine, you can put anything in. So I knew that. I wasn't worried about that. I mean, I wasn't putting in my advertising. I was putting in energy drinks. Listen to me, if you want to beef about that, I don't worry about it. And then secondly, I'm thinking that maybe he has some kind of opportunity for me. I don't know. I don't know what the guy wants, but he's here from Austria, unannounced, on a Friday when I'm trying to get to South Beach with my wife. That's crazy. So he comes in. I got a big office, like a stupid big office, because I think I'm big time. I mean, my office was like real stupid, like 1,000 square feet, like where you could probably you couldn't even putt. I used to chip in there, like a golf club, So, anyways, he comes in, he looks around a little bit, he sits down, and this guy's a billionaire. So he says, "Listen, what are you doing with that machine out there?" And I said, "I'm selling it." And he says, "Well, that's a piece of crap." I'm like, what? I don't think so. What are you talking about? You know? He goes, well, I've seen machines, and that's a piece of crap. I'm like, okay, Dietrich, why are you here? He goes, okay, well, you know, you're a little pushy. I'm like, a little pushy? You're in my office. I'm like, oh, this is boggling my mind, right?
Right.
He says, slowly, wait. And he reaches down, he picks up a glossy picture of a Red Bull machine that I've never seen in my life. It's a 6-foot-tall bubble front. It's gorgeous. It looks like a can. I've never seen this machine before. Really, never seen it in my life. I look at it and I said, listen, there's only 3 people that can make this machine. There is. In the world, there's Dixie, Narco, National, and Royal. That's the only people that can make that type of machine because it's gorgeous and state-of-the-art, where I've never seen a vending machine like that. He says, yeah, Royal makes it. Okay, Royal's out of West Virginia. And I said, okay, I know them. And how many machines have you put out in a year? Because he told me he'd been doing it a year. He says, oh, with a puffed-out chest, about 500. 500? Now I know why you're here. Royal's probably pissed because they thought you're going to be the next Coke. I put out 3,000 of the generic machines, and you only put 500 of this? Well, you couldn't probably do anything more. I just told you I put 3,000 of a generic machine. You give me a Red Bull stamp machine that says Red Bull on it, I would sell any amount.
Right.
I'll sell 10,000 the first month. Oh, there's no way. I go, yes, there is. He goes, listen, I'll give you exclusive for North America if you sell 2,000. I'll give you exclusive for the world if you sell 3,000. I'm like, 3,000 a month? I could sell 10,000 of those a month. I could sell 20 probably if you could make them. And here's the thing. Here's where it got a problem in the beginning. He's saying Royal can make anything I can sell.
Right.
Royal's telling me no, though. Royal's telling me when I started to crank it out and they go, oh my God, he can sell. Because the first 2-3 weeks, I'm getting orders like crazy. Because I know where to market. You know, it's crazy. I was doing business opportunities. I was marketing all online. But you know where I was marketing? Only about 10 different websites, but one's called Franchise Gator, one's called BeTheBoss.com, franchise.com. They're all franchise sites. I'm right next to McDonald's. Like, to be on the front page next to McDonald's, it costs like $10,000 a month. Most people want to be on the 5th page. Like, no, I'm on the front page. So if I'm right next to McDonald's selling franchises and right next to Jiffy Lube selling franchise, I'm automatically the man, right? I'm automatically got credibility.
And you're going to get picked more because you have a lower price point.
That's true too. And people that are looking, my lowest price point is 10 machines for $50,000. McDonald's is $1 million. But what I'm saying is, like, I'm on these 10 sites, I'm spending, like, to get on all their front pages, I'm spending $200,000 a month, $300,000 a month sometime. But I'm getting a crazy amount of leads. Okay, so I know I can sell this. But they're seeing orders come into Royal. The first month, the first 3 weeks was 7,000 machines in the first 3 weeks. So Royal's like, we can't make these machines that quick. Like, what? Red Bull told me, like, now there's a battle, like, who's lying?
Right.
So we get on conference call, and Red Bull says, oh, you told us we can make as many. No, we didn't. Then they're saying, who's lying, who's that? So Royal tells me, well, we can make them like that quick, but we need this big part to go on this big piece of machinery, and it costs $300,000. I'm like, have Red Bull buy it. It's their machine. Oh, Red Bull said to have you buy it. What? I just started selling these machines. So I made them put in writing that they could sell. They could make that much if I gave them the $300,000.
Right.
That's how crazy. I gave them the $300,000, which they still probably have the piece of equipment today.
Because you have that much money on the line.
Exactly. Right? So we sold. They said, hey, ease the selling a little bit. Just sell 7,000 the first month, which we did. So it took them a little more time. Like, I wanted to ship within 40, 50 days. They shipped like 60, 70 days. It's a little, I don't want to go that long, but they did the first month. And then the second month, they said, try to sell. They were telling us what to sell. Like, I could have sold more, but the second month I sold like 4,000 or 5,000 because, like, I want them to catch up to the, like.
Right.
So by the third month, here's the thing. I went from selling the Energy Center 3,000 machines in a year to the first 3 months I've sold about 15,000. Now you need more salespeople. You need more employees.
And you're only selling the Red Bull machine at this point.
That's the thing. That's what I feel worst about. I treated them like the redheaded stepchild. I stopped selling the Energy Center because I didn't want people to get confused. They call in, what do I buy? This one or that one? But I still should have said, hey, it depends on the location. Maybe they want all the energy drinks. I didn't. I bought 3,000 machines from that guy and told him to kick rocks, which I probably shouldn't have done. But he's, you know, it's like you met the gorgeous girl that said yes to the prom, like the girl that's kind of cute. Like, she's still kind of cute, but she ain't Selma Hayek.
Yeah, the
Red Bull was Selma Hayek.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So I mean, what can I do? I'm going with Selma. So yeah, that's what I felt bad about. So what happened was the third month, I had to go from 30 employees to 150 employees. And like I tell everybody, I'm not a great CEO. Like I don't like run 150 people. And then you have to keep track about what salespeople are saying. Like I can't keep track of I got 80, 90, 100 people on the phone now. It's chaos. Like, and if you can even monitor somebody on the phone at your place, who's going to track 100 people? They'll go home and sell the guy. They'll go on their cell phone at home. They got the lead, right? They know the guy's number. If you really wanted to say something off color, like really push the sale, like with some exaggerated stuff, the sales guy can call him at home. He's getting good commission.
Right.
So here's the thing. I got good salespeople now. They're making my good salespeople with the Energy Center are probably making $2,000-3,000 a week, right? My good salespeople with the Red Bull are making like $10,000-15,000 a week.
Holy shit.
And now I go from making $20,000 a week with the Energy Center to making about $400,000 a week myself in pocket.
Wow.
Yeah. And what do you do with that? What do I do with $400,000? I don't know what to do. I put it in the bank, but I mean, that adds up pretty quick, right? And again, do I spend the money like an idiot sometimes too? Okay. My wife is like, hey, settle down. Like we're at the time, like we're in that house we bought for $200,099. Now it's $2,005. It's worth like $600,000. Great house, right? It's a 4-bedroom, 3-bath. It's got a pool. It's great, right? Not good enough for me now. Now I'm the big boy. So now I go looking for houses in Davie, and I go to Emerald Springs Estates, which Jason Taylor lives in, Sam Madison, all the Dolphin players live in. So all they got to do is tell me, Jason Taylor's in there, and then I move 4 houses from him. Now I buy the $1.5 million house with, now I'm the big shot, right? I got a 745. That's not good enough. I got to go buy a Bentley. It's idiotic, but but I've never made that type of money. I've made good money before,
Right.
But it's the first time I made crazy money. But I'm acting like an idiot. I'm acting like a lottery winner because I did hit the lottery, right? Okay. So here's the thing. We ran with that for about a good 10 months. And in 10 months, we've already sold over 30,000 machines.
Wow.
Okay. So I progressed to where, do we have some people complaining they're not making the sales? Yes. No. Do I hear people saying, hey, I'm only doing like 3-4 sales a day? How are you doing 3-4 sales a day? This is Red Bull. It's a gorgeous machine. Some of the people were saying the Energy Center was doing better numbers.
Right.
And I don't know why. I know it only sells Red Bull, but Red Bull's hot at that time. This is a gorgeous machine. Now, people are inherently lazy. Will they put up 10 machines? They'll put out the first 10 people that say yes. You really shouldn't do that. You should get the 10 best locations. You should even wait a month to do business and go out to get the best locations. People are so amped to make money, they'll put in the first 10 people that say yes. Those aren't the first 10 best locations. And then Red Bull wasn't helping either. Their distributors were kind of being enemies with my people, which I don't understand. My person would go out there and hustle and get a great location like Publix. And the person at the Publix, the guy selling the Red Bull to Publix, delivering the Red Bull, would say, hey, well, that's a gorgeous machine. I didn't even know Red Bull had a machine. I want to put a machine there. And he would make so much trouble. He'd go to the manager and say, listen, I'm not going to sell Red Bull to you anymore unless you kick that guy out, and I want to put a machine in. What? I can't. I got people complaining about, like, you should be helping me sell.
Right.
And Red Bull wouldn't force the guy to not do that. They weren't helping. They were just happy with me getting all these big orders. And they told me they were going to go put out those teams that had the Red Bull cars and everything, and the girls that had
the Mini Coopers with the backpacks.
They all said everybody that bought 10 machines was going to go get those people to come out. They never came out. Red Bull bullshitted. They never came out to help them. Never. Even though I was giving people, like, if you bought 10 machines, I was giving you 5,000 cans right away. I bought like 3 million cans in the first year. I bought a lot of cans. Help me out, push cans. No. They were just happy me sell the machines, get them out there to get Royal off their back and to get free advertising with 30,000 machines. So, sour grapes with that, yeah, but, that's what big companies do. So it progressed to about a year now, and then I go to a trade show in Vegas. Now, at the trade show, Red Bull shows up, and then it's a vending show. So I'm staying at the Bellagio. The vending show's at the Convention Center. And I meet with Dietrich and his crew, and I meet with Gary Smith, and we meet, and they set the agenda for the meeting. They told me to show up. And they say, listen, how many machines you got to sell in the next 6 months? We want to have progressions. You want to know what I'm going to do 6 months? Okay, I give them the sales progression. We want a new can ordering system because the way you order cans is archaic. And before I went to Vegas, they said they're going to buy this can ordering system, new computer system for me. There, they tell me it's going to cost $100,000. I'm like, all right, another $100,000. And they show us the new ordering. It isn't state of the art, but they went back and said they were going to pay for it. They didn't. And then they said, okay, great. I'm going to invite you all my crew and me, my wife, to the Real World Suite at the Palms. that they filmed the Real
That's
World
when they
suite.
were filming the Real World in Las Vegas.
This right after. They already used the suite.
Right.
Now it's a popular suite to rent, though, for parties. They put a Red Bull bash, a big Red Bull bash. They had Paris Hilton there. They had like a bunch of comedians. They had big name people there. So I was there with my wife, and I'm talking to Red Bull, and this guy kind of like is listening to me talk to Dietrich. And he must know Dietrich. I don't recognize the guy, but it was Jeremy McGrath. You know, not the BMX, the motorcycle guy.
Yeah.
But he slowly comes up over to me after I talked to Dietrich, the CEO, and he says, "Hey, you're the guy that does the vending machines." I said, "Yeah." He said, "Listen, we called up." I said, "Who's we?" He says, "Me and Rob Dyrdek called you guys up, and we want a machine for his show where he does Robin Big for his house." And Red Bull said they can't even give us one machine. You're the exclusive, because I did have exclusive. I had those numbers. So I said, "Man, have Rob Dyrdek call me up. I'll send him a machine." So that when you see his show, he has a machine in his house. That's a machine.
Yeah, you gave him
I
a
gave
machine?
him a machine.
That's
That's the only
cool.
machine I gave away. So, but McGrath tells me, "Hey, watch out with these guys. They're snakes." We talk about Red Bull? Yeah, Red Bull. He says they'll use you and throw you away. And it was just kind of weird how he said it. But I thought about it. Well, okay. I don't think they are, but I'm whatever.
Right, because up until that point, Red Bull hasn't done anything to.
Not really. They reneged on helping me, like promote it. They didn't really have my back when my distributors got kicked out of those locations with their people. So they've done little things to show that I'm not fully on the team, but they haven't done anything to say they're going to stop this,
Right.
or anything that bad. But they've reneged on some contract. I mean, some things they told me they were going to do, like verbal agreements. But so I go to the trade show, and then I come back from Vegas, and I'm in my office, and that's about 10 days later, and it's April of 2006, and I get a certified like overnight envelope, and it has to be signed for, and it's coming from Red Bull. But it's not coming from Red Bull North America. It's coming from Austria. So I know that's their headquarters, right? And I open it up. It's simple. It's a 2-line note that it says Red Bull is not doing business with Creative Commons anymore, period. That's it. That's all it said. We cease and desist everything. We can't buy cans. We can't buy machines anymore. And my contract gives a 90-day notice. I have a contract with them that says they have to have 90 days to notify me. So, but here's the thing. Here's what got me in trouble, and here's what got the complaints. If they just let me wind it down, I would have been cool. They sent emails to every one of my distributors, 3,000 people, saying we're not doing business with you anymore.
They just opened
They
the
didn't say I was
floodgates.
bad. They didn't say what I did, but they said we're not doing business with you anymore. So people calling me up like,
That
I got
just
3,000
created
people
pure
trying
chaos.
to get pure chaos. They're trying to get a hold of me saying, well, what if you just got 10 machines like 2 weeks before? Well, how do I get more machines? I don't know. They won't sell them to me. How do I get more cans? You're not going to sell me cans for 99 cents anymore. Well, you can go buy on Costco for $1.26. That's a lot more than 99 cents. Like, well, I'm going to send the machines back to you. You can't send the machines back. I'm not going to buy them all back. Red Bull can't take the machines away. You still can own the machines. You just can't buy more. And it was chaos. So that's what created the chaos.
That's where the spiral started.
That's where the spiral going, and that's where the complaints went with the government. And the first people that call the government, the government says, well, did you get the machines? Yeah. Were they state of the art? Did they work? Oh, yeah. Did you get the cans? Were they expired? No. Then what are we talking about? But now they want to get out, so they'll say anything. Well, the guy told me I was going to make all these sales. It didn't make all these sales. Now all the people, in hindsight now, at the time I had no unresolved complaints with the Better Business Bureau, no unresolved complaints with the government, nothing. Did I have some people complaining? Yes. Did I give some people their money back? Yes. Not many. But you resolve complaints.
Right.
I can't resolve 3,000 people trying to get a hold of me on a Friday all at the same time. So it's chaos. Now, here's what's crazy. We found this before my trial. Somebody feels so bad for me at Red Bull at the corporate office in Austria. They find an inter-office memo in Austrian that we got translated that says Red Bull's going to shut the contract down. All the distributors are going to go into chaos. Call the distributors and you get the machines back for pennies on the dollar.
Wow.
That's what the memo said.
So it was a preemptive plan to
absolutely.
Fuck, man, that's
so
evil.
we got that, and we got it translated because it was in Austrian. But she tells us what it says in English, and we present that in trial, by the way. And still, But yes, they knew that was going to create chaos. So if I don't buy back the machines, and you think the machines aren't worth anything now because Red Bull's not involved,
you'll get taken out, and they'll just buy the machines for pennies on the dollar.
Right. And people will still be pissed because they lost all the other pennies that aren't the dollar.
That sucks, man.
So I'm in a no-win at that time.
So walk me through. All right.
So what do you do at that time? What do you do?
I mean, you're stuck between a hard rock and a hard place.
Now, here's the other thing. You tell me this is right, wrong, or indifferent. They shut my contract. Supposed to give me 90 days notice. I do advertising in 90-day segments because they gave me 90 days notice.
Right.
90 days of advertising means almost $1 million.
And you had just started the 90-day cycle.
About 10 days before. Oh, my God. I'm not going to stop advertising. They call me up. Oh, you're still advertising. No, screw you. But now I have to go buy a shitload of machines from Royal because they just stopped. Now Royal's saying, no, Red Bull told me not to sell to you. What about all these people?
Right. So you still had to ship out for the people that were still buying.
I could still sell to people, but I couldn't get more machines. So no, I couldn't.
Right.
So I had to stop selling. I had to eat the $1 million.
Oh, my God.
I had to eat the $1 million.
That's crazy.
So yes, that's what's crazy about it.
And this is all in a 90-day period where this just all starts kind of like falling apart?
Unraveling. Now here's the crazy part about it. So you don't want to shut down right away because you look like you're running, right?
Right.
So what do? You go look for another machine? You go back and sell the energy center machine? Okay. But here's the thing. In those 90 days, there's so many people that complain to the government. The same complaints they might have made 90 days before, but now there's too many of them.
Right.
Like, listen, I mean, like I said, if you don't get complaints, the government will let you run for years. The government's not stupid. I'll give the government. The government's they're crazy. They're draconian, but they're not stupid, right? Bernie Madoff was giving returns that were impossible.
Right.
The government knows this. The government's not. They have stock watch. They have the regulatory. They know the numbers he was giving to investors are impossible. But you know what? There's no complaints. You know when there was complaints though? The bubble burst in 2008, right? So when the bubble bursts and the stock market goes down and you lose money in houses, you go to Madoff and say, hey, Bernie, maybe I need 10 million of that because I just lost my butt in the stock market.
He's like, oh, no, it's
and now he's got to run on money.
Oh, yeah.
And there's where the complaints start. Mm-hmm. But before that, they let Madoff run for 10, 15 years, and they knew he was a Ponzi scheme. So think about it with me. They don't know I'm a Ponzi scheme. I'm not doing anything that bad. I'm shipping machines, right? But say I was pitching a little too zealously, which I went to jail for, over-exaggerated earnings, how I sell it. But they register me to sell business opportunities. I'm licensed in all 50 states. They called deposits investors over 200 times with my salespeople. The FTC, they do that. I know they do that because they do that to see if you're telling the right thing, right?
Right, of course.
Do the FTC never find me, never stop me, never stop my selling practices? But the DOJ has a problem with them, in hindsight, because of complaints. Because the people complained, because Red Bull shut the contract down, because it was chaos. So that's what the catalyst was. So
bridge it to where the feds get involved. Like what happens?
Okay, so
it snowballs.
Right. So then later on that summer, I'm like, I'm just gonna shut it down. Like everybody ship all the last machines. Yes, resolve all that, all the last can orders.
Obviously, you stopped selling.
So I stopped selling, right? Okay. And then you can't keep people around if they're not selling. There's no money coming in.
Right. I
kept people around for like 3 weeks. I think I was going to do another opportunity, but I said no. Now I got big money in the bank.
Right.
Now, you know.
It's the same thing you had done 5, 6, 7
it's
times.
It's true. Absolutely. You're right.
Now you're like.
But now I have complaints with the government. Before I shut them down with no unresolved complaints, no nothing. I'm not worried about anything because okay. I shut it down in late July of 2006. The middle of August, I'm out in San Diego looking at another opportunity. Like saying, I'm going to find another opportunity, right? Okay, I'm out in San Diego when my wife calls me and say, hey, the FBI was here and they gave me a subpoena for your paperwork.
Shit.
So they gave a subpoena to get all my paperwork for Credit Conscious America. That's when I go to Roy Black and Richard Diaz's office and say, what do I do? I go to Roy Black's office first. He says, okay, give me money, and I want you to have Richard Diaz too on it. Richard Diaz was a Cuban, like a flare. He kind of looked like you. He said slick back hair. He did a lot of drug cases, did a lot of big cases, fraud cases. But
he was like Tony Montana.
Right, he was, but like a little slicker, like he went to Harvard.
Right,
Tony Montana went to Harvard. He had an office on Ponce de Leon.
All right, guys, taking a quick break from the podcast to talk to you about Gus Villa Jewelry. Yo, let's be real here for a second. If you're rocking plain jewelry in Miami, of all places, you are doing it 100% wrong, my boy. Step your game up with Gus Villa Jewelry, the plug for real Cuban link gold and silver chains. And of course, the cleanest Rolexes in all of Miami. This isn't factory made or watered down or any of that stuff. This is high quality, custom, handmade stuff that shines from here to the moon. It turns heads, starts conversations, it makes you look fresh. Gus has something that'll level up your whole vibe. And because you're locked in here with us at Honor Among Thieves Podcast, you're getting a hookup. Use the promo code Montana at checkout. Get 5% off your entire order. That's right, 5% off. Go check them out at gusvillajewelry.com or pull up on them in the Diamond District down here in downtown Miami. gusvillajewelry.com. Again, that's gusvillajewelry.com. And tell them your boy Montana sent you. Gus Villa Jewelry. Now back to the podcast. Yeah, it's in Coral Gables, not far from my house. I know exactly.
Exactly. He's on Ponce de Leon in Coral Gables, and he has like a 2-story with like 2 other lawyers and like 4 secretaries, paralegals, but it's really him. He's the main man. And you go up to his office, and he's got like an old school building, like those old 2-story buildings, and he's got like $5,000 suits, and he's got like perfumed up, and he just, he was a character. So he tells me, give him your information. Like, shit, I can defend this. Like, so I got to give him $50,000 to start and Roy $100,000 to start. This is way before they indict me. This is just to feel it out. Okay. So I give Diaz the money and really don't talk to him much after that because, like, they don't do anything for 4 years. Like, I know they're looking at me.
Right.
I mean, I got people telling me that bought machines for me and people that used to work for me. Hey, the FBI called me. The Secret Service called me. Like, Secret Service does fraud case. I have no idea why. But do I know they're looking at me? Yes. They just subpoena my paperwork. So I, like a schmuck, schlep up like 40 boxes to the FBI building in Miramar. Just bring it to their office. Hey, where do I put them? Well, I put them here. I give them my stuff.
You got nothing to hide. So
yeah, here they go. Now, here's the thing. In those 4 years, most people would go put $2 million in a PVC pipe, right? We'll go hide $1 million in the ground. We'll go put them in offshore accounts, right? I do none of that.
If they're doing something shady.
But I do none of that because I know that I could go to trial eventually from this. I'm not stupid. But you're not thinking about it daily. But, for 4 years, you might think about it in the first couple months, like they're coming to get me. But I know the system doesn't work that way. They wait and they get a case on you, and it's going to take years. Who knows when? But, I'm living in $1 million, $1.5 million house, But do I know, like, hey, when they're looking at you, like, it's imminent.
Right.
But I didn't know it was 4 years later imminent. Like from 2006 all the way to 2010. So between that, it was dead time. Like, what do you do? Like, I don't know. I mean, you just live life, right? My daughter's going to school. I start taking my daughter to school every day, and it was a nice time, right? Other than that, over my head. Because, when you got the not the scariness, I would say, but the nervousness of like the government looking at you, that's a little nervy. So you tend to eat more, you tend to do stuff more, you tend to, I'm calling takeout, going to
live life a little harder, yeah.
Yeah, not live life. You just have a lot of trepidation.
I know exactly how you feel because from the day I stopped committing my crime to the day I got arrested was 4.5 years. So I know
that's what mine was, about 4.5 years.
Yeah.
The statute of limitations is 5 years, so
right.
Like
they come get you right before,
Right. So here's what's crazy about that and people don't realize this with the government, is think about this now. They're waiting for you to do something else, which I wasn't going to do, but listen to this now. This is nuts. Now, I go to lawyers that are big time now. Why wouldn't they tell me to give them $500,000? Because I didn't know the government was going to seize my money before I go to trial. Like when they indict me, all my bank accounts became frozen. So do I know that's going to happen? Yes, I'm not going to hide the money. Here's why I know it's going to happen, because eventually there's a grand jury.
Right.
And of course they want my wife and my mother to talk in the grand jury, and they can't not go because they'll subpoena them. I go to the courthouse in Miami, and where they do the grand juries. It was right next to the jail, actually. I went across from the FTC Miami.
Right.
And so I can't go into the grand jury. You can't go into your own grand jury. You can't watch it. You have to wait for my mother and wife to come. And my mother says that they're eating popcorn, they're ordering pizza. They're not even listening to her. It's like a stamp, like it's like a joke. They just want to get paid for the day and like get food and stuff like that, right? So, my mother's upset, obviously. Like, she doesn't want to go through this. And my wife's like a trooper doing it. But I mean, it's like, hey. So the grand jury was on a Wednesday. On a Thursday, I look at my bank accounts and they're not zero. So when people say they're zero, they're BSing you. My bank accounts were like minus $999 million. They don't want it to be an active account. They don't want you to use it. If it went to zero, I can still use it.
Right.
They want it to be like a non-active account. So they take it out and minus it.
That's
like
nuts.
saying I owe them or something.
That's insane.
So I
you literally logged into your bank account. Yes. It was like negative $90 million.
3 or 4 bank accounts, and they're all minus $999 million. Yes.
I wouldn't even, bro. I'd shit myself. Bro.
I mean, was I totally shocked? I mean, there's a grand jury. I mean,
I know, but it's one thing to think about it, but for it to,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Now listen to this. Then they come to my house with a search warrant to take my watches and my jewelry and all that. Well, this is all happening within 2 days.
Fuck.
Then they come. I have 4 cars. They take 3 out of 4 of my cars. Why they left me the 7 Series BMW, I have no idea. But they took 3 of the cars,
I guess
including my wife's car.
I guess they figured you needed a car to get around or whatever.
Right. You need to go to trial with a car, right, or something like that. But they left me with 1 car. The house they can't take because it's homesteaded. They could put a lien on it, but you can live in it forever. But they put a lien on it. You can't sell it. Of course, sell it will go to them. So
Right.
why sell it? Screw you. Like, okay, you can basically take it. I just won't pay the tab. But anyways, long story, they can't just come physically take it. The one house that you can homestead. So now I have no money. Like I need money for the lawyers. But now I have 0. Now, do I have some, maybe watches they didn't find or something to go pawn to live life to get some money up? Here's the thing. I had a partner that will take some of the watches and lend me some money that want to give me $300-400 grand, like $300 to go get a lawyer. He does. He goes to Roy's office. Well, we'll give you $300 grand. We'll give you some more, like when the trial happens. The government calls him up and says, "Listen, you can give Roy $300 grand. You can give him $1 million for the trial, but we're gonna audit every single year of your life. We're gonna go up your butt." This is what he tells my friend that gave me the money, and he backed out. He backed out of it. Got the money back from Roy. Yeah.
These fucking feds, man.
Yeah.
Why?
Now, here's the crazy part, too, is I had 3,000 distributors. They only got 8 people to say, I'll take the stand and say I did something wrong. 8 people. They send out a questionnaire to 3,000 people. Only 8 came back. So they subpoenaed those people to say something against me. I had 10 people that said, hey, I've made money. I purposely had this one kid out of Fort Lauderdale that was a hustler. I don't know if I'm not saying he was drugs. I don't know where he made his money. Young kid. But he went from 10 machines to like 40 machines, doing well. He says, I'll testify
On your behalf.
on my behalf. So I had 9 other people. They systematically called every one of them and deboed them.
Did the same
called
thing
the kid.
with your friend, like threatened him.
Yes, called the kid that was supposed to be the street kid that I thought was going to buck up. And he says, he called me up and said, I can't do it, man. Man, I like you, but I got to tap out. They threatened me with all this stuff. They all tapped out. What if I called their witnesses up? I would go to jail for witness tampering.
Yeah.
But they can do it to mine? But they won't testify to that because they're scared the crap out of them. That's what's crazy about the government. That's the bully tactics where you don't have to do that. Well, why'd you just fight fair? So, yeah, I could get nobody to say yes. Now, I could subpoena them, but if you subpoena somebody and make them come, you think they're going to tell the truth?
No.
They'll probably say I'm bad now, like because they're pissed that I
Right.
made them come. You can't do that. There's no way around it. And what's crazy is the people that testified against me, the 8 people that got machines, my lawyer said the same thing to everybody. Did you get the machines? How many did you buy? 10. Okay, you got them, right? Were they beautiful? Yeah, great machines. Did you get the cans of Red Bull? Yeah, we got the cans of Red Bull. Okay, did you put them out there? Yeah, they didn't do that well. And then about 2 months later, I put them in my garage and they're still there.
How are you going to sell if you put the machines away in your garage?
Oh, but the salesperson told me that I was going to make all this and they screwed me. I had one guy, this is a funny story. He was a boat captain. So he was like too short of a 6-pack. If you know the term?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not all there, right? But he's a boat captain. So my lawyer says, you're a boat captain, right? Oh, what do you take people out on cruises like about 3-4 miles out? And then, oh, no, I only go a mile out. I only have a license to go a mile out. Okay. You make good money? I make some money, but I don't make great money. And okay, but you bought 10 machines for $50,000. You said you only make like $20,000 a year. He says, yes, but my wife's a neurosurgeon. So I whispered to my lawyer when he's in the stand, I said, yeah, she probably operated on him.
Yeah.
And like the jury don't hear it, but I mean, anyway, so his wife's a neurosurgeon making probably $500,000 a year, right? And probably gave him the money to get him out of the house, while he's not doing his little cruises, right? My lawyer says, hey, simply, did you read the purchase order? Oh, yeah, I read the purchase order. Okay, you signed for 10 machines. Did you get those? Yeah, they were nice. Did you get the 5,000 cans? Oh, yeah, I got that. Did you read the back of the purchase order? Not really. You signed it, though. Yeah, I don't really read that fine print stuff. You didn't. But you signed every little line that says that you read it. You didn't sign the whole thing. You signed every one. The one that says, I can't guarantee any specific level of income. Depends on what you signed that, right? Oh, yeah, but I didn't really look at it. Have you ever done a contract before? He goes, yeah, we've done, like, I bought houses with my wife. We've bought other things with my wife. You ever read the stuff? oh yeah, I read the contracts for the house. Well, this is $50,000. Isn't that important? And he goes, well, kind of, sort of. Kind of, sort of, why are we here? If it's kind of, sort of important. So, and I had one lady that says she expected to get 300 sales a day each machine. No, nobody told you that. That's BS. Come on, man. Let's be realistic. I'm not telling people that. But it's just, put it this way. The 8 people are thinking that they're going to get some money taken from me, which the government did take money from me. But that money never went to the victims. Where did that money go? To the government put me on trial? Where did the money they seized from me go? I don't know to this day. So, okay, so then they indict me, and I don't go to trial for that. They indicted me in June of 2010. I didn't go to trial till January of 2011. So I'm on pre-trial.
Did they offer you any kind of pleas or anything?
I never talked to them about it. They did say, let's meet about a plea, and call me stupid, call me whatever. I said, no, I'm fighting you. They also said this. They also gave my lawyer 10 people.
You also genuinely, you also did nothing wrong, so I get it.
Right. I was going to fight them. Right. So, like, my case is winnable. I mean, is it gray? Did I pitch hard? Yes. I mean,
no, but you didn't do anything illegal, Red Bull.
To them, it is. Like I tell other people, I told them in the other podcast, listen to me. To somebody who doesn't know about fraud, it's like I sold 3,000 Lamborghinis. You bought a Lamborghini. He bought a Lamborghini. I sold 3,000 guys Lamborghinis. And every guy I ship Lamborghinis to, 0 to 60 in 2 seconds, it's a Lamborghini. You paid $300,000. I paid $250 wholesale for it. I sold you a Lamborghini. But while I sold you, I said, you're probably going to get beautiful girls. You're probably going to get dimes because it's a Lamborghini, right?
Right.
And nobody got girls. That's fraud to the government. I mean, I'm telling you. And not only is it fraud, if I sold you for $300,000, I paid $250 for it. What would the fraud amount be in your mind if I did fraud?
It should be $50,000.
It's all $300 because you wouldn't have bought the Lamborghini unless I told you you're going to get girls.
Exactly.
So that's the government. That's fraud to the government. Is that worth 17 and a half years in prison?
Definitely not.
I mean, crap. So could I have got a deal? Yes. Well, I know I could have got a deal by one reason. Right away, the government sends my lawyer a list of 10 people. And the lawyer shows me a list of 10 people. He said, you know these people? I said, I know about 4 or 5 of them. There were other people doing big biz ops that I knew just from knowing advertising. Some people were in New York, some people in Florida, but they were all around. And I knew these people. I went to lunch with a couple of them, but I don't know them very well. Could I call them up and they told my lawyer, hey, he doesn't know, they don't know he's indicted yet. He can go talk to them, wear a wire or something. And I said, no, I'm not doing that. They're automatically saying you could snitch. Then they said you could tell on your employees. We can indict more than 4 of your employees like we did. And no, I'm not doing that. And so those 2 ways out. And then you could just plead and I could just fall on the sword. And I don't know, I might have got 10 years instead of 17 and a half, but I was going to fight him from the beginning. Call me, whatever. I was going to fight him. I'm going down. And I'm taking the stand. I took the stand for 10 days.
What's most wild about your story to me is that the jury actually found you guilty after hearing all those different perspectives, different stories, different things.
No, but you don't know what happened during the trial. They heard all of that.
Well, all right,
but here's the 3 bad things they heard in the trial but people won't perceive that they're bad, but to a jury of not my peers, by the way. Nothing wrong with the trial. They would work in stiff. If you have a job, I don't care if you work McDonald's drive-thru, I respect you if you work it well. I don't look by my nose at anybody that has a job. But these are people like one guy worked at the Calvary Chapel Church as a guitarist. He's making about $30,000 a year. This is what the government did the first day of trial. The government didn't say one word. Think about this. They didn't say one word the first day of trial. Didn't even say boo. Didn't say nothing. They got an overhead projector, and they put every single paycheck I paid myself. So they showed the first paycheck I paid myself. It's like 10 grand. The second one, 30 grand. The 30th one, 300 grand. When they get to the 300 grand I paid myself, they don't know if it's from illegal things. They haven't heard the trial yet. I paid taxes on that. I did it legally. But the woman in the front row and the other kid looks at me when they see the $300,000 check for the week. They look at me, and they hate me. Like, well, this guy was making 300 grand a week? He's got to be doing something guilty. What? The government's MO is to have them like hate you and also like really jealous. So they show a picture of my house, which is in Davie. It's only like $1.5 million. It's not the big, huge mansion, but it's like 7,000 square feet. Right away, my lawyer says object, and they take it down. But they know they've already seen it.
It's too late.
But the checks that my lawyer can't object to, because I did give myself those checks. The government never said I got it illegally. They're just showing checks to make them go, oh, all right. So right away, they hate me like poison. Now, the second thing is most people, jurors, you're not innocent until proven guilty. You're guilty.
Still proven innocent, 100%.
Because like I said, when they voir dire, the guy said, hey, he must be guilty of something. He's got indicted on 13 counts.
Right.
So you're already at this level. You're fighting battles that, and here's the biggest thing. Even if they felt that I was semi-innocent, semi-guilty, didn't really do it. He shouldn't really do jail time. They think I'm going to get a couple years because I'm white collar. Never been arrested in my life. I'm white collar. So when they did the decision, I get remanded for sentencing. 70 days later, I come out on the front page of the paper, the Sun Sentinel, the Miami Herald, the news. They see the Miami Sun Sentinel, and they go, oh, I was involved in that trial. Let me read this. That's a Red Bull trial. I was on the jury. Ooh, 210 months. Ooh, God. He got 200. Let me do that math. Oh, that's 17 and a half years. I guarantee you polled them and think I was going to get 2.5 years. Mm. If they knew I was going to get 17 and a half years, they would have said not guilty. So that's why. Let's give him a slap on the wrist. He's a little cocky. He's got a $3,000 suit on. He's driving a Bentley. He's a cocky MFer. And so he'll 2 or 3 years in jail. He'll be going to a camp. He'll be fine. But I got 17 and a half for a contract with Red Bull to sell vending machines. That's a lot of time. So.
How long was the trial?
Trial was 2 months. Yeah. So every day after a month, the judge would say, I'm so sorry to the jury. Even saying that we're making it longer. So he's apologizing. It's their civic duty. Oh, I'm sorry to take you away from your classes and your work and all that stuff. And I'm like, why are you apologizing? They've been picked, right? Making it sound like, hey, I'm just doing this to do it.
Right.
And so what happened was a big decision, and I've told you this before, is that they tape recorded 78 of my salespeople. Tape recorded what they're going to say, how they're going to pitch. That's how I went to jail, is how we pitched it. And they tape recorded 78, and they played the 4 toughest ones, like the New Yorkers, the Bostonians, that they pitch tough. Like any brokerage firm, if you call a broker hit pitch. Nothing crazy to me and you, but to a neophyte, that guy's pitching pretty tough. We go to play the other 74 tapes. It's their tapes. And the prosecution says, no, it's hearsay. We've already heard enough salespeople. It's your tape.
It's your evidence.
So we have a sidebar with Judge Khan, and he's like, usually the sidebars were taking 2 to 3 minutes. This took a half an hour sidebar.
Wow.
A half an hour. And Judge Khan says, it's a 50-50 decision, but I'm going to say we've heard enough salespeople. The rest are hearsay. What?
It's their evidence.
Right. So on appeal, they said definitely he erred. It was an error for the judge, but they said it was a harmless error. It wouldn't have affected your trial.
Yeah, sure.
That's how trials go. And here's the crazy part. They go to sentencing and sentence me to 210 months, right? That's 17 and a half years. You know what the prosecution said about the sentence? Oh, he took the stand for 10 days. He's guilty. Now we want to get him on perjury.
Wow.
I'm like, what do you want, my finger too? You want my right leg? Luckily, the judge says, are you ready to argue that right now? Oh, we need 90 days. No, then I won't hear it. But I thought they're going to give me another 5 years.
On perjury.
Because they automatically think that if they think you're guilty, that you lied. Even though you could have told the truth and been guilty. It's crazy. The system is draconian. The system is horrible.
It really is.
So you get somebody like me who, fraud is not black and white.
Definitely not.
Listen to me, if I didn't ship the machines, if nobody got machines and I took their money and nobody got cans, of course, I deserve to get 50 years. But no, they got everything. But for exaggerated earnings, like, hey, you can maybe make this. And yeah, I was selling Red Bull, okay? Did Red Bull sell in 2005?
Of course.
A beautiful vending machine. Have you ever used a vending machine?
Of course.
Would you use a beautiful one?
Of course.
Put it together. That's what I was selling. And that gave me 17 and a half years of my life. Which I did 13 of them. I mean, I got the first step back, I got some halfway house. But I was in prison for 2 months short of 13 years. For that.
Wow.
Which I could have, told on people and wore wires and stuff and got no time. I didn't do that. I could have told on my salespeople and said, oh, it's their fault. I didn't even know you could do that, but I'm not going to do that. Mm. Which, by the way, this is something that people should know. They indicted 4 of my salespeople. They indicted one of my office managers who didn't sell, nothing to do with sales, didn't even know how we sold. She got office supplies and got computers, just was an office manager. And they indicted her. But she did nothing. You know why they indicted her? She had 2 kids that she would say anything if they just threatened to put her in jail. They gave her 6 months in jail. Well, she didn't deserve 6 days in jail. But at the trial, she said exactly what they wanted to say, which is anything. So two of the people that got indicted got 6 months. The other 2 guys says, no, he didn't tell me to say any of that. They didn't take the deal. They went to trial with me and got 7.5 years. Did they regret it? I don't know. You have to ask them.
Shit.
But they were stand-up guys and said, I can't lie and say he told me to say that. He didn't. But
have you spoken to those people?
Not since I got out of prison, no. I spoke to them in prison, but not when I got out, no. Yeah.
17 and a half years. Red Bull, I mean, you have a hell of a story, brother.
Oh, of course. No, there's much more to it. And
that's just a trial.
I haven't really got deep in the trial yet, what happened in the trial. I mean, the trial was 2 months of you know what it was? This is what's crazy. And I didn't tell you about this. This is pretty big. They have everything against me and all the rules against me, but they pile it on just because to make sure they get a W. Now, Dietrich lives in Austria. Now, my trial, 2011, this guy's worth like $40 billion.
Right.
This guy owns everything, right? What does he have to come to my trial for? He comes to my trial to make, I don't want Red Bull to look bad. So this is what he does at the trial. He says he met me at the Vegas trade show, which he did. Remember I told you the trade show? He said he showed me this 30-page memo of all the things I was doing bad, and that I signed the memo. Wait a minute, you said all the things I was doing bad, because if he did that, I would have said, what, you think I'm doing bad? Get out of here. I won't do business with you anymore. Let me do something else. So he could have made that memo 2 days before he came to the trial. So it had a signature line with my name typed, my whole name, Andrew J. Levinson. Signature line with his whole name, with Dietrich's whole name. Signed by Dietrich, unsigned by me. So it's simple. My lawyer said, you can't show it to the jury. It's unsigned. He never signed it. The judge says, Dietrich, did you see him sign it? And Dietrich said, yes. I'll let the jury see it.
Wow.
And again, on appeal, it said that the judge made an error, but it was harmless.
Error.
Yeah. Think about that. Oh, so I mean, the trials aren't fair. The trials aren't
definitely
fair.
Not. No.
So when people go to trial, they shouldn't get punished for it. Like, think about that. Say you were innocent. Say I was completely innocent. Should I get punished for defending myself in trial?
Nope.
It's my right to go to trial, right?
Yep.
But everybody gets way more time going to trial. That's crazy. Other countries is not like that, by the way, you know. Here's something crazy. I'll educate people. In England, say I stole a cow. Steal a cow, you're going to get stopped in the wrist, right? I might get probation the first time I steal a cow. I get offered probation. Or no, say I got 30 days in jail. I do the 30 days in jail. I go out and steal another cow. Guess what I'm going to get in England? I just got 30 days. I'm going to get out. I'm going to steal another cow. I'm going to get 30 days because I just stole the cow. That's it. I get out in 30 days. I steal another cow. I'm going to get 30 days because you just stole a cow. You sell one crack rock, the first time, you're going to get slapped in the wrist. The second crack, it's just a crack rock. It's just nothing big. It's like people are going to use the third time, that kid's going to get 30 years. Do you think the jury knows he's going to get 30 years?
Definitely
He went to trial because he's going to get 30 years. The jury's going to say, I'm going to give him a year in jail. I'm going to find him guilty. You know why? Prison will do him well. He's going to get clean in prison. He's going to get off of this. I'm doing him a favor. Does the jury know he's going to get 30 years because the third time he sold nothing? So does the jury know, as a white-collar guy who's never been arrested for in his life, as a family man, they think I'm going to get what?
A year or two.
Exactly.
Not 17. Yep.
Right. So people don't know.
Rebel, we'll definitely do a part 2 to talk about
Absolutely.
prison because
I'll talk about prison.
Years,
I'll talk a little bit more about the trial. I'll talk about the prison life, and I'll talk about how I got out and what happened when I got out. The struggles with that too.
Definitely.
I mean, so yes. I mean, and when I talk about biz ops, it's not that black and white. When I say I did this opportunity, I make it sound like it's easy. It's not, by the way.
Right.
So when I say I just made that business package, there's a lot of work involved in that.
I bet.
You know, it's not. I'm very cavalier about how I made the money like that. No.
Right.
There could be whole segments on how I did that, but that's another story.
So we just set up your social media.
Okay, there you go.
So people can find you at.
It's Andrew. What is that?
No, the Real Boston Red Bull.
The Real Boston Red Bull, but Red Bull with 2 D's.
Yes.
So the Real Boston Red Bull, with red having 2 D's.
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
TikTok.
Yeah,
Instagram.
all the platforms. So yeah, reach out to me. I'll be glad to tell you more and tell you I'm an open book. I'm transparent. I love telling my story, even though I got 13 years in prison. But I can tell you I was a stand-up guy. Went to trial, never told anybody in my life, and did it the right way. But yeah, the real Boston, because I'm originally from Boston area.
Right.
The real Boston Red Bull with 2 Ds. Shout out at me.
All righty, guys. That was another episode of Honor Among Thieves with special guest Red Bull. Push it to the limit. The world is yours. If you're not chasing a dream, life is
That's
meaningless.
another 2
guys.
hours. I'm tired. I'm a 55-year-old guy. I'm going to be 56 in September. Damn, man. I'm getting old.
Push it to the limit. The world is yours. If you're not chasing a dream, life is meaningless, guys. Catch you on the next one. Say goodnight to the bad guy.
Peace.
So say goodnight to the bad guy.
You looking at the bad guy. This the last time that you ever see a bad guy like me. You don't have the guts to be who you wanna be.